Chapter 820. Lin Feng wins. Look, the White Ram Army's commander's voice sounded. Pairs of eyes stared at the stage, filled with envy and admiration. Even without using the light source, Lin Feng's strength was no longer in doubt. Facing the strongest Saint Force cultivator of the trump card army, Kuei's squad's captain Qian He, in just a single exchange, Lin Feng had easily won. Absolute suppression of strength. Everyone present were elite captains and ace soldiers, so their eyesight was not bad. You let me win. Lin Feng bowed slightly to Qian He, who was lying in a pool of blood, then left the stage. His attack on Qian He and Ma Yingjie were actually not much different, but in terms of defense, Qian He was far inferior to Ma Yingjie. To fully recover, you'll have to rest for a month. Lin Feng did not have any sympathy. If he was the one who was defeated, Qian He would have attacked even harder. Are you confident? Yingjian asked coldly. Go Xianjiao rubbed her chest with her thumb, saying softly, stronger than Qian He, but weaker than Ma Yingjie. Black Impermanence frowned. He's weaker than Ma Yingjie? Chuan Xianho smiled. Old Black, why are you so stupid? If Lin Feng had the confidence to win against Ma Yingjie, why would he use the light source so quickly? Yu Gui said, maybe he has mastered the recovery technique. No, Yingjian said, he has been trying, but he hasn't succeeded. Go Xianruo laughed, her exposed shoulder slightly shrugging. Even if he uses the light source, he may not be able to win against me. With a faint glow, Go Xianruo placed her soft hand on Yingjian's shoulder, saying softly, with Captain here, how can they compete with us? Huh? Yingjian coldly glanced into the distance. This time I want to completely suppress the first glory squad. Never let them turn the tables. Yes, Captain. The team members responded. 2 wins. Lin Feng looked at the memory metal plate. He was ranked first in the first group. Many soldiers were pointing at the ranking on the memory metal plate, discussing animatedly, their eyes full of surprise and envy, but Lin Feng clearly knew that this was just an illusion. If all 4 battles were not over, the rankings would not be accurate. He still had 2 matches left. One of them was against Zhu Kuei. The other was a plot against the Emperor. 2 fierce battles. Giant Kuei is here. Lin Feng looked towards the second glory team. Giant Kuei had already returned to his team. It was clear that he had intentionally left to give Go Xinxue a victory, given Giant Kuei's strength. Regardless of whether it was himself or Ma Yingjie, it was impossible for them to defeat him. In other words, Zhu Kuei would definitely advance with 3 victories and 1 defeat. To Giant Kuei, the overtime match was equivalent to a free pass. I want to be promoted. Phew. Lin Feng let out a light sigh. The situation before his eyes was quite grim. Even if he did his best, it would be meaningless. The only way was to win. It was impossible to win against Giant Kuei, but as long as he could win against Go Xinxiu, he would have a chance to advance. At that time, all 3 of them will have 3 wins and 1 loss. They can still compete. As long as I could defeat Go Xianxiu in the last match and injure her severely, I'll be sure to win the tiebreaker. Lin Feng nodded to himself. He had no way out. To defeat Go Xianxiu, he had to recover his light origin energy. However, the method of spirit concentration seemed simple, but it was like comprehending a profound intent. If he couldn't comprehend it, he couldn't comprehend it. He had to leave his fate to luck. Lin Feng had never liked it. Ha! His gaze fell on the stage. At this moment, the second match had already begun. I'll stake it all. Lin Feng's gaze focused, and he immediately left. He was heading towards the glory world. The journey wasn't far. Lin Feng sped along. There are 3 more rounds left. They are me against Giant Kuei, Go Xinxiu, and a free pass. Lin Feng was extremely fast. There is a 2/3 chance that Go Xinxiu's battle with me will appear in the 4th and 5th round. I'll bet on it. The most troublesome thing right now was that he didn't know what the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round matches would be like. He could only calculate the odds. The first round will take the least time because there is a great disparity in strength. Number 1 against number 5, number 6 against number 4. But from the second round onwards, The battle will be intense. A round should take about 30 minutes, at least 5 minutes. Lin Feng stepped into the glory realm. So I have about 50 minutes of free time now. Give up the third round. Lin Feng, in the glory realm, the soldier in charge of the strength test was startled. Strength level test. Lin Feng didn't hesitate and directly stepped into the test area. The Thai nether source exploded. Holy Chi burst out. 9th level of Nirvana stage. A new January, a new test. In less than 30 seconds, Lin Feng finished the test and left the glory realm for the heaven and earth realm. Right now, his strength was at the 9th level of Nirvana stage, but he was already close to the limit. He only needed to cultivate a little in the drum heavenly realm to immediately break through. Instead of relying on luck to recover his light origin energy, it was better to quickly increase his combat power. When I reach the first level of Saint stage, my strength will increase by 1 level. My body has been strengthened, and my Thai nether origin has entered the 2nd stage. My control over light, darkness, and lightning has become stronger, especially in the Tao of Light. Lin Feng's eyes shone brightly. Putting aside his cultivation, just his combat prowess had improved. It will increase by at least 20%. Whoosh! Lin Feng quickly entered the drum heavenly realm. The reason why he had to test his strength level first was because of the Glory Alliance's rules. The duties and obligations of a lieutenant were not calculated in the current month, but for the next month. 3 years ago, Lightman was like this. After breaking through to Saint stage, his bloodline awakened for the 2nd time. He directly jumped from the peerless grade to the ultimate grade and obtained a bloodline score of 1. With 753 points, he was ranked 1st in the combat power ranking. In the 8th month, Lin Feng earned 351 battle points in his account and 3,510 battle points as a reward. In September, 3,510 points on reward couldn't be wasted. As my strength level increases, the reward will increase, but this will also be the last time. Originally, Lin Feng planned to increase his strength to Saint stage in September. Now, it was just ahead of schedule. The drum heavenly realm was right in front of him, and Lin Feng entered it at lightning speed. He spent 100 points on it. To Lin Feng, it was like a fleeting cloud. Whoosh! Lin Feng sped through the drum heavenly realm. At this time, it was empty. Most of the experts had gone to the glory territory to watch or participate in the battle. The rich energy of heaven and earth rushed towards him. Lin Feng's eyes were like torches, and he knew the drum heavenly realm like the back of his hand. Go straight for the light energy source. Ta! Lin Feng raced against time. The light core attracted the light energy to gather rapidly, and the absorption speed was many times faster than other energy sources. The Thai nether source crazily absorbed, and as the light core shone, the extremely rich light energy gathered at a terrifying speed and entered his body. Pung, pung, pung. The Thai nether source beat like a heart, and the energy absorption was completely saturated in a short while. A pure energy essence spread out from the center of the source. I'm about to break through. Lin Feng was very clear. To be continued. Chapter 821. The Thai nether source was evolving. To Lin Feng, this was within his expectations. From the first week of pregnancy to the 2nd week of pregnancy to condensing the source and stepping into the nirvana realm, there was a broad path after that. It was limited by each martial artist's aptitude and talent. The stronger the source, the stronger the bloodline, the stronger the aptitude, and the better the cultivation conditions, the faster the cultivation speed. From the nirvana realm to the saint realm, and then to the nirvana realm, there were no bottlenecks. It was like the growth of the source. As long as there was enough food and time, it would grow to the peak of the 9th level of the nirvana realm one day. However, many soldiers were unable to step into the saint realm in their entire lives. Most of them were stuck in the saint realm for decades until they died. It was not easy to grow to the nirvana realm. Crack, like a melon shell cracking, it was crisp and direct. It was the Thai nether source that broke. It brought about endless energy essence absorption, causing the Thai nether star to change. The mysterious power hidden in the Thai nether source slowly spread out, bringing out the strongest Thai nether source's essence energy to strengthen the body. The stronger the source, the stronger the body changes. The strengthening of the body is secondary, from the nirvana realm to the saint realm, and then to the nirvana realm. Each stage is a process of cleansing the marrow and changing the body. In the words of Earth's neo-martial arts, it is the strengthening of the genes. It was not a change, but a strengthening. If the body was compared to a piece of iron, or it was a refining process to increase the purity of the iron element. Whoosh! It was extremely clear. Lin Feng could clearly feel the changes in his cells, meridians, and bones. There was a slight increase in the level of life. The most direct benefit was that it was easier to stimulate the bloodline and easier to integrate with the world. It was easier to understand the mysteries and obtain the acknowledgement of the source. One point, Lin Feng was immersed in it. It was a race against time. The transformation required enough energy. Fortunately, he was in the source of light, the drum hammer heavenly realm. It could greatly shorten the transformation process. A large amount of energy, especially the light energy, entered the source and turned into pure Thai nether saint energy. The Thai nether source was changing. The Thai nether star was also growing bit by bit. Its aura became stronger. The second realm. Lin Feng was stunned. My source of light. At this moment, the light core's origin energy was slowly recovering. It was very slow, but he could feel it with his heart. It was different from the normal recovery of the light heart. After all, the light heart only contained a trace of origin energy. Originally, he would need at least 3 days to recover, but now he had recovered a lot in just a short moment. Understand. Lin Feng nodded. The light heart's self-recovery was built on the foundation of the source point's absorption of heaven and earth energy. The origin energy existed in all of the light core energy, but it was extremely small, like sand hidden in a desert. That was why it couldn't be sensed, but as time passed, it would slowly accumulate and restore the light core energy. The natural energy within the drum hammer, heavenly realm, far surpassed the natural energy of the outside world. Coupled with the amplification from the light energy source, and the fact that the source point was rapidly devouring the light energy, caused the light origin to grow at a speed visible to the naked eye. Good things come in pairs. Lin Feng was satisfied. Not only did his strength increase, but even his light origin was restored. Less than 30 minutes had passed, and he had enough time to make it to the 4th round, as long as his battle with Go Xian Xiu wasn't in the 3rd round. Then, I will definitely beat her. Lin Feng was full of confidence. Light origin, 1st level of Sage Stage, 2nd level of Thai Nether Source Point. His strength had increased by more than 1 level. The depths of his sea of consciousness shook slightly, and Lin Feng burst into laughter. The True Dragon Source Point increased by 1 level, reaching 7th level of Nirvana Stage. Rich heaven and earth energy entered his body, and the purest energy from the Thai Nether Source Point strengthened his cells, bones, and meridians. Skin, muscles. Every part, including the talent soul. The first meridian diagram moved, and the second meridian diagram moved. The third meridian diagram was also moving. Collapse. Collapse. In the depths of his heart, the mysterious whirlpool black hole was shaking, and a terrifying power was roaring, as if it was imprisoned in the deepest abyss of hell in the universe. The Overlord's battle power appeared, and it improved by another level. But what was more shocking was the entire third meridian diagram. What a strong throbbing. Lin Feng was secretly shocked. From the fetal star to the child star, and then to the nirvana stage, the space in the depths of the whirlpool black hole seemed to be perfectly formed, forming a stable whole. But now, it seems like it's trying to break free. What is it? Is it the power of my bloodline? Lin Feng exclaimed at his heart. The increase in strength and entering the saint stage meant that his life level had taken a small step forward, and the power of his bloodline was undoubtedly easier to stimulate. This was why it was easier for Nirvana stage experts to awaken their bloodline for the second time, to comprehend the perfect mysteries, and to be recognized by the origin energy. The second awakening. Lin Feng was looking forward to it. The first awakening of the whirlpool body had already given him a big surprise, and the ultimate normal grade was unheard of on Planet Nemo. The second awakening, he didn't know what his whirlpool body would become, but one thing was for sure, it would definitely be the ultimate grade. Just as he was thinking, his vision suddenly changed. Pa! Pa! Lin Feng saw the light core, which was in the wisdom soul, in the depths of his heart. The shining light contained the deepest mysteries of the universe, and it was sacred and unshakable. However, the light core was shaking violently at this moment. What's going on? Whoosh! Whoosh! A strong, swallowing force came from the black vortex, sucking in the heart of light. Lin Feng was suffocated, and his heart seemed to stop beating. He entered the dark universe that seemed to have yet to be developed. The light instantly lit up, and the heart of light rapidly expanded. It was so fast that no one could cover their ears. Bang! In just a moment, the light core expanded by one size. Roar! In the entire black whirlpool, a shocking aura spread, and the light core was still expanding, as if it had absorbed some nourishment. Lin Feng was completely confused. In an instant, his mind and divine sense recovered, and Lin Feng trembled violently. He opened his eyes, and cold sweat dripped down. It felt like a dream. Was that real or an illusion? Lin Feng felt the existence of the light core, and his undulating chest gradually calmed down. He said to himself, that was close. He could still feel the light core, and it was very full. The light core had been fully recovered. Whoosh! Whoosh! A large amount of heaven and earth energy poured in, and Lin Feng sighed softly and stood up. Almost 40 minutes had passed, and the transformation of the Tai nether source was coming to an end. He clenched his fist and felt the tyrannical power. At this moment, his combat power was at its peak. Lin Feng's lips curled into a smile, and he was very satisfied. This breakthrough was a result of his accumulation. I will definitely win the battle against Go Xinju. Lin Feng's eyes were bright. Chapter 822. Within the Glory Territory, the battle was in full swing. Where did Brother Lin go? It's such a pity that he gave up in the third round. Yi Xia sighed. Even if Captain participates, he probably won't win. Wu Daozi said. Shimanzi's eyes glimmered with hope. Lin Feng should be recovering his battle strength and concentrating on preparing for the next round. With his current strength, he is indeed inferior to Glory's second team. Giving up this match might be the right decision. Blowing Snow nodded. I agree with Sister Manzi. Brother Lin won't avoid the battle. Yi Xia sighed helplessly and looked around anxiously. But the problem is that the fourth round is about to begin. Brother Lin might not be able to get a bye. If he gives up one more match, it will really be over. Wu Daozi said. He will definitely come. Shimanzi's beautiful eyes were filled with certainty. At this moment, the second match of the fifth group had just ended. The White Ram Army's commander's voice rang out. Hong Bao wins. Hong Bao angrily slapped his chest and roared. After 2 rounds, he had 1-2 matches. The elite military officers below clapped thunderously and whistled incessantly. The strongest elite commander, Hong Bao, had finally proven himself. He did not perform as abnormally as he did in the first round. The first round was a bye. In the second round, he won against Qin Tiansheng. In the third round, he quickly defeated Meng Ji. In the next 2 rounds, as long as Hong Bao does not lose to Ao Lai, he will definitely advance. Wu Daozi said, Qin Tiansheng is too unlucky. Although he is in the first position, he first met Hong Bao. After a fierce battle, he did not have time to rest. Then, he met He Wuchang and suffered his second defeat. Next year, Qin Tiansheng will be even stronger. Shimanzi said. Suddenly, her beautiful face froze. She turned her head and looked behind her. Luckily, he made it in time. Shimanzi had not smiled for a long time. Shua! Lin Feng floated in the air. He did not hide his tracks. Instead, he directly entered. The first thing Lin Feng saw was Hong Bao's awe-inspiring presence on the stage. Lying at his feet was Meng Ji, the fourth seat of the fifth group. He was an elite commander whose strength was ranked in the middle. It can't be. Lin Feng frowned and shook his head. There's a 1 in 3 chance. Lin Feng felt helpless in his heart. Although he hadn't personally seen the third match in style_txt, it was his turn to fight. However, from the battle between Hong Bao and Meng Ji in the fifth group, one could see 100 things. In the third round, it was position 3 against position 4. Hong Bao was the third seat. Every round, the order of each group's battle was the same. So the third round's battle was Go Xinxiu against himself. It was just so unfortunate that they bumped into each other. Shua. Lin Feng's gaze shifted to the memory metal plate. The rankings were clearly written on it. He had originally been ranked first in the first group, but now he had slipped down. Because their record had changed to 2 wins and 1 loss. The new number 1 Go Xinxiu was 2 wins. His first victory was against Giant Kuei, and his second victory came from himself. The third round is over. Let's continue with the fourth round. We'll start from the first group again. The White Ram Army's commander said coldly. He looked over and said, Number 1, Giant Kuei, against number 4, Lin Feng. He followed the commander's gaze. Lin Feng immediately became the target of public criticism. Go Xinxiu still has 2 battles. One against Ma Yingjie, one against Qian He. Even if he loses to Ma Yingjie, 3 wins and 1 loss is enough to advance. Apart from my battle, Giant Kuei won't make a mistake against Qian He in the 5th round. I've been forced to the edge of a cliff. Lin Feng smiled. Although there was no way out, and there was a 1/3 chance of encountering Giant Kuei, at least he could fight against the strongest in the 2nd round. He could fight against the vice-captain of the 2nd Glory team. This was not necessarily a bad thing. Pa! Lin Feng clenched his fist, his eyes filled with fighting spirit. His body had just transformed and was at its peak. His blood was boiling. Although he had lost a chance to win against Go Xinxiu, he had gained a chance to fight against Giant Kuei. Naturally, it was not bad. After all, the chance to fight against a super expert was rare and precious. An hour ago, even if I used my light source, I would not be Giant Kuei's opponent. But now, I have a higher chance, even if it's only 1%. Lin Feng relaxed. With a light leap, he stepped onto the martial arts stage. Giant Kuei! Giant Kuei! Giant Kuei! Orderly shouts rang out. Giant Kuei was very famous in the Glory League of 7, and he had many supporters in the elite army. He raised his giant hammer high, and the familiar holy chi enveloped the entire stage. It was Giant Kuei's origin, the nether origin. The nether holy chi that Lin Feng had used for a long time had reappeared. It was a perfect fusion without any flaws. As the vice-captain of the Glory team, Giant Kuei had his own strengths. His terrifying body was 5 meters tall, almost a meter taller than a normal human. His bulging muscles and veins were exposed, and his blood vessels were bulging. It was a terrifying sight. In terms of physical fitness, he was already terrifying under normal conditions. Once his bloodline was activated, it was hard to estimate. Clang! Lin Feng pulled out Black Dragon, and the Black Dragon soared into the sky. Crack! Crack! The entire stage was shaking. Giant Kuei's elephant-like feet sank into the stage. He held his giant hammer and roared. An earth-shattering power formed Giant Kuei's unique Kuei world. It was the force of his bloodline, and the pressure was extremely strong. Pung! The true Dragon Saber world was completely suppressed. Lin Feng was not surprised. The opponent he had to face in this battle was no longer an Earthwalker. His strength was stronger than Hong Bao. Overlord battle power. Lin Feng's heart surged. A flame burned fiercely and broke through the suppression of Giant Kuei's Kuei world. He was not as strong as Giant Kuei. If his force was suppressed, he would be at an absolute disadvantage, and he would be powerless to resist. Pa! The heavenly curved light disc landed in Lin Feng's hand, and a light seal flashed on his forehead. The nearby White Ram army chief frowned. What an unusual fluctuation of light source. Ha! Ha ha! Giant Kuei laughed loudly. The nether holy energy condensed in his eyes, making him look even more demonic. Come, kid, let me see how powerful your light source is. He gritted his teeth, and giant Kuei's aura condensed. The giant hammer shone brightly with a nether holy energy, a perfect heavenly saint weapon. As the vice-captain of the second glory team, Zhu Kuei was naturally wealthy. Even the armor he was wearing was a supreme-grade heaven-rank saint treasure. Lin Feng did not avoid the battle. A newborn calf was not afraid of a tiger. Moreover, he had been cut off from all his escape routes. If he wanted to advance, he had to win. There is not much light source energy. It will be used up in 2 or 3 moves. Lin Feng knew that he did not have many chances. He had to make good use of them. The battle with Giant Kuei could only be ended quickly. The longer it dragged on, the worse it would be for him. Sizzle, sizzle. Golden light flashed. Lin Feng activated his titanium gray body, and the battle power of a level 1 accomplished saint appeared. He went all out from the start. Come, let's fight, Lin Feng shouted. To be continued. Chapter 823. The heavenly curving light disc flew out of Lin Feng's hand. The second time he used it in battle, he was even more proficient at using the light origin. Chi, chi. In the blink of an eye, 18 beams of light appeared on both sides of the disc. Lin Feng's gaze turned cold as the third and fourth sides appeared at the same time. 36 beams of light turned into heavenly constellations that attacked Giant Kuei. Origin energy. There was an uproar in the surroundings, but Giant Kuei was unmoved. With a roar, his perfect heavenly sacred weapon, the Nether Skull Lightning Hammer, buzzed, and streaks of nether holy aura burst out, heading straight for Lin Feng's heavenly constellation. Sparks flew everywhere. Crack! Crack! Giant Kuei's eyes flashed with a dark red color. With a low roar, his bloodline exploded. The muscles on his arms and legs were like steel as veins appeared. His 2.5-meter height grew again, reaching 3 meters in an instant. Roar! With a roar, Giant Kuei attacked. At this time, Lin Feng's speed was also shocking. The black whirlpool that came from the sky moved rapidly, as if breaking the ocean. Light origin surrounded the blade. Facing a strong enemy like Giant Kuei, Lin Feng had no fear. Fight to your heart's content. New Sea Breaker. With the suppression of power, the Grand Nether Holy Aura reached the second stage, 1 level higher than before. But most importantly, the strength of the light origin allowed the New Sea Breaker to reach the peak. The fast and fierce blade clashed with Giant Kuei's Nether Skull Lightning Hammer. Boom! Everyone was dumbfounded. Even the members of the second glory team were dumbfounded. Someone was stupid enough to fight their vice-captain Giant Kuei head-on? Even Captain Ing Jian couldn't suppress his vice-captain's natural brute force, especially after his bloodline had exploded. Giant Kuei was a killing machine on the battlefield. At the same level, his physique was superior to most demons. He's asking for trouble. He doesn't have any strategy at all. Fighting is about playing to your strengths and avoiding your weaknesses. Blast him into meat paste. Ha ha ha. The members of the second glory team laughed wantonly. Only Ing Jian stared at the stage without saying a word. On the other side, Guangnan's brows were also furrowed. He didn't know why Lin Feng was doing this. For Lin Feng, this kind of fighting style would only lead to death. It was obvious just by looking at the frenzied shouts of the soldiers below. Even he might not be able to defeat Zhu Kuei in a direct confrontation. Lin Feng had his own intentions. Because of Giant Kuei's bloodline power. Pung! Lin Feng was blasted away, spitting out a mouthful of blood. The ferocious force rushed straight to the pit of his stomach, if not for the reduction of the whirlpool body. At the very least, he would be severely injured. But for him, it was worth it. He could only truly feel Zhu Kuei's strength when he fought him head-on at such a close distance. His bloodline power, its battle power, since Giant Kuei's battle prowess can be used in terms of strength and attack. I could do it too. Combat power that was similar in nature. It was a mysterious power that came from the heart. It was incomparably powerful. The devil race was like this. They used force techniques. The foundation of force techniques was strength. Although Lin Feng had Qi Wan's memories, grasped the seven limits, and grasped a lot of knowledge about the devil race, he had always been confused about the use of the devil race's power. The devil race's dark power is a type of strength. The human's battle prowess is also a type of strength. Strength is a form of existence that is completely different from energy. The reason why we have never been able to use it for reference is because the devil race's structure and cultivation method are different from ours. Lin Feng had always believed that the human's battle prowess was a very powerful force. It came from the heart. Holy Qi came from the spirit of the earth of the first map. Holy Qi. It came from the spirit of the talent of the second map. Battle prowess came from the spirit of wisdom of the third map. It's very similar. It's similar to the drive of the light heart, but it's slightly different. Lin Feng stopped. His eyes lit up again. He did not retreat, but instead attacked Zhu Kuei. This was an excellent experience. No matter if he won or lost, there was no pressure. But if he could learn something from Zhu Kuei, obtain something, it would be worth the ticket, the Overlord's battle prowess. Lin Feng tried to use it. However, it only made the momentum of the blade stronger. There was no significant change in physical strength or attack power. The Overlord's battle prowess came from Xiangyu. It was more about the power of the blade technique. It exploded with an unstoppable momentum. Every time my strength and life level increases, it will increase significantly with the spirit of wisdom. Lin Feng activated the origin of light. At this moment, he was getting more and more familiar with it. The attack suddenly exploded. Zhu Kuei sneered. The power of the bloodline was increasing bit by bit. Endless power emerged from the depths of his heart, nourishing his entire body. The Nether Skull Thunder Hammer struck with angry thunder, attacking Lin Feng's celestial spirit. The majestic Nether Holy Qi combined with the power of the bloodline attacked Lin Feng again. Bang! This attack was 0% stronger than before. It was enough to make Lin Feng vomit blood. His face was pale as he retreated. The eternal thunder pearl armor on his body dimmed and cracked. The whirlpool spun rapidly to reduce the impact. The Nether Holy Qi was dissolved, but there was still a dark red, mysterious power that penetrated his heart. Roar! The spirit of wisdom and the monster in the mysterious black hole seemed to be roaring. The origin of light turned into a stream of light that nourished his body and dissolved the mysterious dark red power. Lin Feng's heart trembled slightly, and a light flashed in the corner of his eyes. The third time, the fourth time, Lin Feng was like a cockroach that couldn't be killed. The captains who were ready to laugh at him were stunned. Even the members of the second glory team were at a loss. They looked at Lin Feng as if they were looking at a monster. He's not seriously injured? How is that possible? The vice-captain's attack power is real. Does he have a perfect heaven-grade sacred treasure that can absorb damage? Chuan Xian Ho, Yu Gui, Go Xinjiu, and the others were puzzled. At this time, the light seal on Lin Feng's forehead flashed. He dragged his seriously injured body to attack Zhu Kuei again. Not only could he not die, but he was also stubborn. Feel his origin of light carefully. Ying Jian's eyes lit up. What? Chuan Xian Marquis and the others were puzzled. From the beginning of the battle, his origin of light exploded. Ying Jian said in a deep voice, but even now, his origin of light has not been exhausted. The members of the second glory team were shocked. Impossible. At this time, the Time Man and White Ram Army Lord were puzzled. They all had origin of light, especially Light Man, whose origin of light was at the same level as Lin Feng. He knew Lin Feng's origin of light very well, but he couldn't understand it at this time. It was reasonable to say that Lin Feng had to maintain the heavenly curved light disk and attack with his origin of light. At most, his origin of light should be exhausted in the second attack. But now, it's already the fifth attack. Light Man was deeply shocked. Everyone knew that origin of light could not be cultivated before crossing the Grand Nirvana realm. But Lin Feng's origin of light defied common sense. When he fought Ma Yingjie, his origin of light was still normal. It was only after the battle with Qian He that he left. Light Man's eyes were like torches. What happened? To be continued. Chapter 824. Of course, Lin Feng was the clearest. He had to see. After crossing the Saint Ascension stage, his light core was sucked into the black hole, causing a huge change. It kept expanding as if it was absorbing nutrients. Now, the light core was 3 times bigger than before. The most terrifying thing was that it still hadn't stopped. 3 times the light core meant 3 times the amount of light core. Even so, Lin Feng's light core was about to be used up. 2 moves. This is the feeling. Lin Feng pursed his lips. Even though he was pushed back by giant Kuei time and time again, his fighting spirit never wavered. The more he fought, the better he was. He could clearly feel the power of the wisdom soul in his body surging. He was breaking through in battle. Every time giant Kuei's bloodline power seeped into his body, it seemed to pull the source of his fighting strength out of the black hole. His senses were very sharp. It was as if there was a barrier as thin as a cicada's wing, and he only needed to touch it lightly. Bang! Giant Kuei's power surged. The Nether Skull lightning hammer crackled with thunder and lightning, causing the stage to shatter and metal to fly everywhere. Lin Feng's blade clashed with the Nether Skull lightning hammer once again. Lin Feng's heart skipped a beat. In that instant, his divine sense became clear, as if he had been enlightened. Veins appeared in his mind, and a mysterious vortex appeared. Suddenly, Lin Feng's divine sense became clear, as if he had been enlightened. Qi! It was like a passageway had been opened. Lin Feng was already very familiar with this power. He controlled it instinctively. It was as if the tiger talisman had lit up, causing the guards in the city to swarm out. The invisible overlord's fighting strength turned into tangible power. Waves of shocking power spread throughout his body. Lin Feng roared with a domineering aura. At the last moment when he was pushed back by giant Kuei, he exploded with power. Bang! Zhu Kuei let out a muffled groan as his body staggered. Even his top-grade heaven tier armor shook. The 2 sides separated immediately after the battle. For the first time, giant Kuei was shocked and in disbelief. He had been pushed back. This is Lin Feng's bloodline power. Giant Kuei felt a seed of fear spread in his heart. Who the hell is this guy? Why is his light origin energy so endless? He gritted his teeth and glanced at the Big Dipper elephant under his feet. The strong control power driven by the light origin had been restricting him. If not for this, he had already blasted Lin Feng to smithereens. Wait a minute. Giant Kuei turned his gaze towards Lin Feng. At this moment, Lin Feng's aura had completely changed. Even the heavenly Dipper constellation that was suppressing him seemed to be changing as well. An indescribably tyrannical energy enveloped the entire battle platform as the golden dragon roared. His level of power. Giant Kuei's expression changed. At this moment, it was as if he could see the figure of the captain, the absolute strength that could completely suppress him. Impossible. Zhu Kuei wanted to deny it from the bottom of his heart, but Lin Feng's reappearance instantly confirmed his bad premonition. Zhu Kuei's expression changed drastically as he looked at the ordinary-looking young man in front of him. His pupils had completely changed color, and his body was covered in a layer of faint golden light. Faintly discernible patterns appeared on his skin. Divine rune. There was no time to be stunned, because Lin Feng's saber had already arrived. It was mixed with intense light origin energy. Although Lin Feng was at a disadvantage, he had also depleted a lot of giant Kuei's energy. This time, he had poured all his energy into the final attack. The giant beast hidden in his body had awakened, and an endless stream of energy surged out. The Overlord's power was madly activated. New sea break. Lin Feng was like a god of war descending. He used the first style of the 7 limits again. This was the 3rd time his attack had been greatly enhanced. Light origin energy, stage 2 calm sacred energy, and bloodline overlord's combat power. Boom! The entire arena was silent. Gravel flew everywhere. It was a mess, and the energy fluctuations were extremely intense. This was definitely the most intense battle in the 2nd round of the qualification battles. Lin Feng's explosive strength was beyond everyone's expectations. No one believed that Lin Feng could win against Giant Kuei, including Lin Feng himself. But now, Giant Kuei was lying on the ground, buried by the gravel and metal. Lin Feng stood in front of him with his saber. It was as if Shura had descended to the world. As long as Lin Feng was willing, Giant Kuei would die with a single slash. Both of their armors were almost shattered, especially Lin Feng, who seemed to be more seriously injured than Giant Kuei. His face was pale, and blood flowed freely. After several exchanges, Lin Feng lost to Giant Kuei in 5 moves. If not for the curved light Big Dipper disc, which gave him time to breathe, Lin Feng would have been defeated long ago. This was a battle. Until the last moment, no one knew what the outcome would be. Lin Feng wins. The White Ram Army's commander's voice rang out. It was as frightening as an earthquake, and it woke everyone up from their stupor. The unbelievable scene in front of them was not a dream, nor was it a blur. It was real. An ace soldier, a newcomer who had only been in the Nirvana world for 3 months, had defeated the vice-captain of the second glory team. Clap. A round of applause rang out. At this moment, Gui was like this. The elite captains looked over, only to see Light Man smiling and clapping softly. An exciting battle. His calm words were like a clear spring that calmed everyone's hearts. In a split second, applause rang out. The elite captains no longer looked at Lin Feng with jealousy in their eyes, but with respect from the bottom of their hearts. Such a strong warrior was already standing at a height they could not reach. Good. Yi Xiao's face was red with excitement, and he clapped the loudest. Shimanzi's beautiful eyes looked at Lin Feng, her slightly red face revealing a moving charm. Lin Feng's victory made her extremely happy. Snow Chue's eyes were full of radiance, and he was full of respect like the other elite captains. Wu Daozi's mouth was wide open, too excited. They had just witnessed an unparalleled and peerless battle. Thank you for letting me win. Lin Feng nodded weakly and left the stage. A cold and sinister gaze looked over. Lin Feng turned his head and saw Ying Jian. He could clearly feel the cold, killing intent coming from him. Ying Jian was not tall, even half a head shorter than Go Xian Xiao, but he was extremely eye-catching in the second glory team. He was the soul of the second glory team. Dragon tattoo? Lin Feng was shocked to see a small part of Ying Jian's neck, and his heart trembled. Ao family. Ying Jian was the same as Ao Lai, a member of one of the 4 great Ao families. Chi. Ying Jian raised his hand and slashed out. An ear-piercing sound rang out, tearing through space. It was filled with provocation. It seems like I messed up the second glory team's plan. Lin Feng smiled inwardly. He did not mind. There were some things and some people that he could not avoid. The most important thing was the battle with Giant Kuei. I benefited greatly. Lin Feng was pleasantly surprised. In the air, the White Ram Army's expression did not change, but his gaze was fixed on Lin Feng. It's a shun tattoo that has a small chance of appearing after the second bloodline awakening. In his unbelievable light heart, this little fellow seems to be hiding many secrets. Interesting. Chapter 825. Trying to steal a chicken, only to end up losing the rice used to lure it. This was the best description of the second glory team. Originally, they thought that Giant Kuei would win, so they let Go Xianxiu win, but in the end, they failed miserably. Although Go Xianxiu won Group 1 with a perfect record, the second place was not Giant Kuei, but Lin Feng. 3 wins and 1 loss. Their only loss was when they forfeited against Go Xianxiu in the 3rd round. Go Xianxiu is lucky. If Lin Feng did not forfeit, how could she get first place? Not to mention first place, if Giant Kuei did not let her win, Go Xianxiu might not even be able to advance. The eyes of the elite captains were very sharp, and they naturally saw it clearly. Although Go Xianxiu was first in her group, everyone knew who was the strongest in Group 1 without a doubt. The battle between Lin Feng and Giant Kuei was the most exciting battle of the second round. Unfortunately, Giant Kuei was eliminated in the end. He underestimated his opponent too much. Chuan Xian Ho sighed. Yu Gui nodded. If Vice Captain had a sacred treasure that could suppress the curved light Big Dipper disc, Lin Feng would have lost long ago. Black Impermanence and Go Xianxiu nodded. The reason why Giant Kuei lost was that he was caught off guard by Lin Feng. Although the curved light Big Dipper disc could not injure him, it was like a rope tied to his legs, making it difficult for him to use his full strength. Especially when Lin Feng's attacks came one after another without any pause. From head to toe, Giant Kuei was passive. Enough, Ying Jian said coldly, and the other team members immediately fell silent. If you lost, you lost. Don't find excuses. Yes, Captain. The other team members answered submissively. Ying Jian looked at Lin Feng with a cold gaze. In the third round, I will personally seek justice for Giant Kuei. Lin Feng stood upright. He could feel the gazes of Ying Jian and the second glory team because they did not hide it at all. Even so, Lin Feng did not care. He was immersed in joy. Defeating Giant Kuei was a happy thing, but he was even more surprised by the increase in his strength and the changes in his body. So that's how an overlord's battle power is used. Lin Feng deeply remembered the battle just now, as if he had opened up his conception and governing vessels, instantly connecting the black hole with his body. The source of the overlord's power came from his bloodline, which was extremely powerful. Whoosh! Lin Feng looked at the fine lines on his left hand. They were strange and beautiful, and contained profound mysteries. It wasn't a fluke. Instead, he had truly grasped the method. Ha! The lines disappeared, and Lin Feng's mouth curved slightly. The newly born overlord's battle prowess had merged with his bloodline, and he did not feel any huge exhaustion. With a thought, he transformed it into the most fundamental source of his strength. It wasn't just in terms of attack and physique. Even his true Dragon Saber realm had been strengthened. Strength lies in the heart. I have fully comprehended the battle prowess of the Overlord and established a connection with my heart. Naturally, my strength level has increased as well. However, Lin Feng was still a little confused. The core of light that was sucked into the black hole was still expanding. In a short period of time after the battle, it had expanded from 3 times to 4 times, and it still hadn't stopped. An expanding core of light meant that it could contain more origin of light. The core of light was the key to being able to last until the end of the battle with Giant Kuei. This is too strange. Lin Feng was secretly surprised. This core of light, how big does it have to expand before it stops? Lin Feng, who had just received a bye in the 5th round, had already won. In addition, he was the first to fight in the 4th round. He could use this opportunity to observe the opponents he might face in the future. The 2 rounds of battle didn't take long, but he could still obtain a lot of information, especially for the sake of fighting for a place to advance. The participants in the last 2 rounds would usually give it their all. Vice Captain Meng Meng advanced with a complete victory. Impressive. The last one is Wu Qi. Lin Feng's eyes were bright. The 2nd round ended first. Meng Meng, who had outstanding strength, won easily and obtained a 2nd-class military medal. Her strength was not inferior to Giant Kuei's. It was just that their fighting styles were different. If he were to fight her, it was hard to say, but they would be evenly matched. Just like his battle with Giant Kuei, victory and defeat were only separated by a fine line. Giant Kuei underestimated his opponent too much. Lin Feng knew clearly that Giant Kuei's strength was enough to crush all the participants, so he didn't care. If he had a holy treasure that could block the curved light Big Dipper disc and unleash all his strength, the outcome would be unknown. On the stage, Wu Qi raised the giant hammer and roared. In the last round, he easily defeated the 5th position expert. Wu Qi advanced with a total of 3 wins and 1 loss. Li Jun was defeated by Meng Meng and had no chance to advance. The 3rd group, Ji Zhishuan forfeited? Lin Feng was surprised. Ji Zhishuan's last opponent was the 1st position expert, Chuan Xinho, who was second only to the captain and vice-captain of Glory's 2nd team. He had won all his previous 3 matches. His winning rate in a normal battle was not high, not to mention that Ji Zhishuan had fought with the 3rd position expert for too long in the 4th round and was injured. But even so, Ji Jishuan still advanced with a total of 3 wins and 1 loss. Soon, it was the 4th group's turn. Like the 3rd group, this was a group that had been determined early on. After the first 4 rounds, the first position expert, Yu Gue, and the second position expert, Goddess Wakaman, had both won all their matches. Whether they won or lost, they would advance. It was just a matter of rewards and face. The first glory team and the second glory team were secretly competing. No one wanted to lose. Yu Gue was ranked 4th in the second glory team. Goddess Wakaman was a newcomer who had just joined the first glory team. However, she had entered the path of glory and was now in the 7th level of Sage Realm. The Goddess Wakaman was also very strong. Lin Feng looked carefully. In addition to the second group's vice captain, Meng Meng, and the third group's leader, Chuan Xinho, Yu Gue, and Goddess Wakaman were all potential opponents in the 4th group, especially Goddess Wakaman. As for her, Lin Feng wanted to fight her the most. He lost to her in the Battle of Glory Star, and now he wanted to win it back. Ruo Meng has improved a lot. Lin Feng pursed his lips, his eyes like torches. Master Guang Nin once said that Goddess Wakaman's bloodline has not awakened for the 2nd time, but her talent is already very outstanding. Especially her light talent itself is extraordinary, and she also has the bloodline of Aurora. Heart state, swordsmanship, power realm, Lin Feng nodded. The situation was difficult to decide. Goddess Wakaman relied more on her own strength, while Yu Gue relied quite a lot on his holy treasure. It was not a bad thing. On the battlefield, only the winner was determined. However, based on the current situation, Fairy Ruo Meng clearly had the advantage in terms of potential and potential. In short, Goddess Wakaman's potential was higher. The 10 minutes time limit was getting tighter, and Yu Gue, who had more combat experience, gradually gained the upper hand. It's about time. Lin Feng did not care whether they won or lost, because he already knew their general strength. However, when the time limit was about to end, Lin Feng's heart suddenly moved, and he looked at the stage in surprise. At this time, there was an uproar around. To be continued. Chapter 826. Light Source. Lin Feng looked towards the stage. An evenly matched battle could stimulate a martial artist's potential, especially for martial artists with great talent. Goddess Wakaman, who originally had Aurora's bloodline, was not much weaker than Light Man in terms of light attainments. Now that she had obtained the recognition of a light source, it was even more natural for her to condense the heart of light. Exploding before the time limit was up, Goddess Wakaman and Yu Gue were on par with each other in terms of strength, and both of them had expended a lot of energy. Goddess Wakaman's sudden explosion had directly secured her victory. At this moment, her entire body was shining brightly, like a high and mighty fairy, incomparably holy. Pung! Yu Gue was defeated. The second glory team's faces were extremely ugly. Captain Ing Jian's killing intent was even stronger. Ruo Meng wins. The White Ram army commander looked at her with admiration. The stronger the Glory 7 Alliance's martial artists were, the happier he was. Ever since entering the competition of the 12 Alliance, the Glory 7 Alliance had always been defeated. This time, he had come out to preside over the situation, in order to get back some face for the Glory 7 Alliance. She has become stronger again, Lin Feng muttered. He was not the only one whose strength had increased. Goddess Wakaman had improved a lot since the Battle of Glory Star last year. Now that she had broken through, she was the second Sage ranker in the Glory team after Light Man to obtain the recognition of the Light Source. The current Ruo Meng, her strength when the Light Source exploded. She is even stronger than Vice Captain Meng Meng. At the second Glory team's location, the atmosphere was stifling. Ing Jian did not hide his killing intent at all. First, Vice Captain Giant Kuei was eliminated, and then he was humiliated by the number 1 Glory team. This caused Ing Jian to burn with anger, and the dragon imprint on his neck became even more sinister. Ing Jian stared at Light Man in the distance. Bang! The mark on his forehead flashed, and a dense dark aura filled the surroundings. Not only was Light Man startled, all the soldiers present were dumbstruck. Even the second glory team beside Ying Jian were shocked. They did not know when Ying Jian had obtained the recognition of the Dark Source. There is always a higher mountain. Lin Feng was not surprised. As the captain of the second glory team, it was not surprising that Ying Jian was able to obtain the acknowledgement of the origin energy in the Saint Ascension stage. It was obvious that he had just formed the Dark Heart not long ago. If not for the fact that he had lost face this time, Ying Jian would probably still be hiding this trump card. One of Team Glory's two ultimate masters. He had just entered Glory's Alliance 7. Lin Feng knew the illustrious names of Lightman and Shadow Sword. One was an ultimate bloodline, while the other was an ultimate origin point. They were both captains of Team Glory, but Ying Jian had always been suppressed by Lightman, not only in terms of Team Glory ranking. It was more about one's own strength. However, the difference in strength between the two should not be too great, and at that time, the Shadow Sword had not yet formed the Dark Heart. The current Shadow Sword might be even stronger than Lord Lightman. Lin Feng was secretly on guard. However, Shadow Sword is hiding his strength, while Lightman has been in the Glory Squad for 3 whole years. I'm afraid he's also hiding part of his strength and trump cards. Both of them are top geniuses in the 7th region. Lin Feng was not afraid. Instead, he laughed. He had never been content with being ordinary and craved challenges. He always believed that the stronger the opponent, the stronger he would be. Let's meet in the 3rd round of the qualification competition. Lin Feng was looking forward to it. The 2nd round of the qualification competition came to an end. The 5th group's battle was the most intense. Qin Tian won. He Wuchang and Hong Bao stood in a triangle. Their strength was on par with each other, and they each had their own victories and defeats. They were also the only group with the same number of points. In the end, Qin Tian, who had a stronger battle intent, defeated He Wuchang with a heavily injured body and successfully advanced. Of the 3 elite captains, only Hong Bao and Ji Sun advanced. Lin Feng nodded. Hong Bao and Ji Sun were ranked 1st and 2nd among the elite captains. They were also the only ones who had obtained the acknowledgement of the origin energy. It was easier for Nirvana stage cultivators to obtain the acknowledgement of the origin energy, but they were the only 2 out of the 3 elite captains. Although they all had their flaws, perhaps their bloodline was not good enough, or their origin points are not good enough, but the origin energy made up for it. Compared to bloodline, obtaining the acknowledgement of the origin energy was more important, because it could provide a martial artist with extremely strong battle strength. But in the long run, bloodline was more important, whether it was in terms of cultivation or battle. Lin Feng was the clearest on this point. The reason why my light heart mutated is most likely because of my bloodline. Lin Feng sped up. The strength of his bloodline had long been expected. It was only the 1st awakening, but it was already ranked as peerless, surpassing the majority of the 2nd awakening bloodline. In the records of Nirvana Planet, there had never been a martial artist who had awakened a bloodline for the first time. The 2nd awakening should not be far away. The world in the whirlpool black hole has already begun to shake. He who is suppressed in the depths of his heart should be about to awaken. Just a little more. He was his own bloodline. It was just that it was too difficult to improve one's bloodline. Whether it was in the 33 continents or the Nirvana world, there were not many methods. Normal improvement could only rely on the sublimation of the life level to stimulate the latent bloodline. And the 1st awakening of his bloodline took a long time. The stronger the bloodline, the harder it was to awaken. The 2nd awakening should be at least after the Nirvana stage. When one's strength increased to the Nirvana stage, one's life level would increase a lot. Fortunately, the 1st awakening of the whirlpool body is not bad. It's not as good as the best, but it's better than the worst. Someone like Lightman, who possesses an ultimate bloodline, is extremely rare. Most of the geniuses' bloodlines are at the peerless grade like me. What I should do now is not to place my hopes on my bloodline. Instead, I should make use of this month to increase my combat strength. The 3rd round of the qualification contest. The 5 spots for the 12 Alliance tournament. Lin Feng stepped into the heaven and earth realm. After the 2nd round ended, He met up with Manzi, Yi Xia, and the others for a short time before continuing to cultivate. Because on the 1st of October, a truly fierce battle awaited him. Vice Captain Meng Meng, Goddess Wakaman, Chuan Xinho, Hong Bao, Yu Gue, and Ji Jixuan. Each of the experts who advanced were not weaker than him. In addition to the 5 experts who participated in the last round, Lightman and Ying Jian, the 2 captains of the Glory Team, He Jin, Yuan Shuang, and Wei Xinyuan, the 3 ace commanders. The 5 of them all had the strength below the Grand Nirvana stage. It could be said that the 5 of them had already occupied the 5 spots. The others were all challengers, including himself. I'm looking forward to it. Lin Feng entered the light spirit spring. In an instant, the light heart blossomed with endless light. At this time, the light heart in the black whirlpool had already expanded to 5 times its original size, but still did not stop. The terrifying light energy also crazily poured into his body at 5 times the previous speed. The second layer of the tranquil star shone brightly and quickly absorbed it. With the light heart, his cultivation speed was already very terrifying. Furthermore, he had a mutated light heart in addition to the tranquil origin that had advanced to the final layer. This level of cultivation speed was shocking to hear. To be continued. Chapter 827. A normal elite captain would take at least a few decades to reach the Nirvana stage from the Sage stage. Look, unless one was extremely talented or had a lot of military exploits that could be exchanged for a lot of military exploits, treasures, and adventures, it was possible to reach the Nirvana stage. And people like Hong Bao and Ji Jixuan were definitely 1 in a million. But basically, elite captains were not fated to reach the Great Nirvana stage. The Nirvana stage was the end. As for ace captains, reaching this level meant that their potential was confirmed. As long as they didn't die, they could reach the Nirvana stage. The time it took was uncertain. Taking the 3 ace captains as an example, He Jin took the least time, 1 year. Yuan Shuang took the second, 15 years. Wei Xinyuan took the most time, 10 years. Basically, from the Sage stage to the Nirvana stage, no one had spent less than 10 years in the Ace Army. Those who spent less than 10 years in the Glory Team usually spent 51 years. Of course, talented people like Lightman and Ying Jian might only need 3 to 5 years to reach the Nirvana stage, and this was taking the path of glory into account. But now Lin Feng didn't need to enter the path of glory. His cultivation speed was already tens or hundreds of times faster than before. September 2nd, 3rd level of the Sage stage. September 3rd, 4th level of the Sage stage. September 5th, 5th level of the Sage stage. September 8th, 6th level of the Sage stage. It finally stopped. Lin Feng was shocked. The core of light that was sucked into the vortex finally reached a saturated state, rising from 5 times to 10 times. The further it went, the slower the expansion and absorption. It only took 1 day to go from 1 time to 5 times, but it took 10 days to go from 5 times to 10 times. His current cultivation speed was too exaggerated. Soon, I will reach the upper level of the Sage stage. Lin Feng felt the endless light elements rushing towards him. It was as if he was bathed in light. He could easily feel the rhythm of light, as if they were all alive. They were energetic little spirits. At this moment, not only was his perception of light clearer, but his understanding of light was also more thorough. Senior Wei Fu made a mistake on the divine light steel. There are more than 5 paths of light. There should be 6. Lin Feng could clearly see the various energy auras of light, the power contained in them, in addition to the light path, halo path, and brilliance path carved on the steel. Light path, divine path, and brilliance, photon path. The divine lineage is actually the path of light. Of the 6 paths of light, it is the path of darkness. Lin Feng whispered. The formation of the heart of light and the acknowledgement of the origin energy were the keys to open the path to cultivating and comprehending the true meaning of light. 10 times the light core meant that one's perception of light would be stronger, and one would be able to absorb more light energy and cultivate faster. Look, The true path of light path. The six paths of light. Since six paths, Lin Feng said thoughtfully, my talent in the light and divine lineages is relatively better, but my aptitude in the radiance and radiance lineages is relatively worse. There are always good and bad things. Take weapons, for example. He might be more proficient with sabers, axes, halberds, and other weapons that were used for direct attacks. However, he was not proficient with swords, spears, and other weapons that required more skill. Even sabers had different shapes, such as machetes and machetes. Small knives and so on, each had their own preferences. Light is the embodiment of the light path, simple and direct. Maybe because my body is strong, I have a deeper understanding of the light path. Divine path is actually the light path against darkness. Lin Feng smiled. Maybe because I have a deeper understanding of the light path. I have a deeper understanding of the light path. As the saying goes, the one who understands you the most is not your friend, but your enemy. Next is light path. Light path is unstoppable. High-tech laser weapons came from this. Lin Feng nodded. Earth's neo-martial arts and high-tech proved that all levels of power were actually the same, just different paths. For example, the explosion of high-tech nuclear power used the brilliance path of brilliance path. Halo binding, light barrier, and so on were the halo path's true essence. Therefore, to obtain the origin energies recognition, the key is to comprehend the perfect profound meaning, which contains the key to light's true essence. Lin Feng now completely understood why many Nirvana stage martial artists who comprehended multiple perfect, profound meanings were unable to obtain the origin energies recognition. The reason was simple. In terms of light's true essence, he might have comprehended 5 perfect, profound meanings, but the 5 paths of light were all different. To obtain the origin energies recognition, one only needed to open one of the doors. Therefore, to continuously study and refine a perfect, profound meaning, this was the most correct way to obtain the origin energy. Obtaining the origin of darkness and origin of lightning is the same. Lin Feng nodded. September 13th. Phew. Lin Feng let out a light breath and stepped out of the light spirit spring. The corner of Yi Futian's mouth curled up as he punched out. Both his fist and his fist power had improved a lot compared to the second round of the qualification battles. His Taiyu Holy Chi was more abundant in the second realm, and most importantly, his body was much stronger than before. My current body is not inferior to Hong Bao's after the bloodline explosion. Lin Feng's eyes were sharp. After entering the Nirvana stage, the importance of physical strength was greatly reduced. Bloodline, mysteries, realm, and saint treasures were the key to victory in battle. For example, he had defeated Giant Kuei because of the top-grade heaven-rank saint treasure, the heavenly curving light disc, and also because of the light origin. No matter how strong your body was, it would be useless if the opponent's strength and realm were directly suppressed and controlled by holy treasures. It was not very useful before, but it was different now. The Bloodline Overlord battle power is the same as the dark power of the Demon Clan. Lin Feng nodded. He could use his strength to the extreme. Now that he was in the 7th level of the Ascension stage, his body was stronger than all the Glory members under normal conditions, including Vice Captain Giant Kuei, who was famous for his body. Even if Giant Kuei's bloodline explosion, I still have the titanium grade body. Lin Feng's eyes were full of confidence. Now, even if he did not use the origin of light, he was confident that he could fight Vice Captain Giant Kuei. If he used the origin of light, I will definitely defeat him in 3 moves. Return to Territory 111. There were still 17 days left. Lin Feng did not continue to cultivate in the Drum Hammer Heavenly Realm. Although he was confident that he could reach the 8th level of the Ascension stage in these 17 days, the increase from the 7th level to the 8th level was just icing on the cake. It was far from the point of transformation. There is no need to work on the level of strength in 17 days. If I work hard in other aspects, my strength will increase even more. Lin Feng knew very well that although his strength had improved greatly, This time he would be facing 5 of the top experts of the Glory Alliance 7. They were already famous. Light Man, Shadow Sword, the young geniuses. He Jin, Yuan Shuang, and Wei Xin Yuan were the only 3 ace army commanders. Their strength was unfathomable. There are only 5 spots for the 12 Alliance tournament. Lin Feng clenched his fists. To be continued. Chapter 828. True Dragon, Saber Realm. Lin Feng's eyes sparkled. Amazing True Dragon, Saint Power spread out. Unknowingly, the True Dragon Star was now in the 8th level of the Nirvana stage. As the Taiyu Holy Chi entered the 2nd level, the level of life increased. Even the True Dragon origin points increased, and the speed of cultivation was faster. With the True Dragon Saint Chi, the 1st level of Saber Heart is perfect. It's comparable to the 2nd level of Saber Heart. Lin Feng thought and suddenly shouted, "Ka! Ka!" Strange divine runes appeared on both of his hands, and a strong power emerged from the depths of his heart. The rich and powerful Overlord battle power turned into bloodline power, and his aura changed completely. The power realm increase was similar to that of the Demon Clan, and it immediately made the pressure of the True Dragon Saber realm even stronger. Not enough. In terms of fusion, the two are just barely fusing. It's just 1 + 1 = 2. I don't ask for perfection, but if the two can reach a normal fusion state, my power realm will be comparable to the top geniuses like Light Man and Shadow Sword. Lin Feng entered a state of cultivation. He clearly knew what he wanted and which path he needed to take to increase his strength. Making up for his weakness was the priority. 7,811 points. On the Battle Power Ranking Board, Qin Tiansheng had broken his original record and was 1 step closer to the 80 mark. And Wu Qi, who was originally in 2nd place, after 2 rounds of qualification battles, his battle power points increased from 7379 points to 760 points, firmly holding the 2nd place. The increase was very fast. To be able to become a member of the Ace Army, all of them were talented people. Actual combat was the best way to improve. Therefore, every time the path of glory qualification battle, as long as the warriors were free, they would participate. First, to test their own battle power, and second, to use the opportunity to improve their battle power. 7,833 points. Captain is so awesome. That goes without saying. Our Captain Qin did not rely on luck to advance to the 3rd round of qualification battles. Maybe in a few months, Qin Tiansheng will be able to rise to the glory team. On the battle power ranking list, Qin Tiansheng's record was constantly being refreshed by himself. Once again, he pulled away from Wu Qi. In fact, Wu Qi wanted to catch up, but he was powerless. The gap between him and Qin Tiansheng was the same as the gap between him and the 3rd place Poppy. Poppy, 7,078 points, separated from Lin Feng, regaining the 3rd place. What's the point of ranking? Boss Lin Feng is someone who defeated Glory's vice captain, Giant Kuei. If Poppy can't even get a promotion slot, then no matter how high his battle prowess points are, it's all for naught. Lin Feng's true strength should be ranked 1st. After the 2nd round of qualification battles, Lin Feng had already won the respect of many ace soldiers. Now, the legend of Lin Feng was being passed around in the territory of the ace troops. Many new soldiers were full of reverence for him. Stepping into the world of profound meaning, Qin Tiansheng's face turned serious. Hearing Lin Feng's name again gave him a completely different feeling. He was no longer an ant beneath his feet. He had personally witnessed the battle between Lin Feng and Giant Kuei, and he was deeply shocked by Lin Feng's strength. Qin Tiansheng clearly knew his current strength. If he were to face Lin Feng in the state of light core explosion, it bodes ill rather than well. If he can be recognized by the origin energy, so can I. As the number 1 of the ace troops, Qin Tiansheng had his pride in his bones. He did not want to be surpassed by others, especially by a newcomer from the 33 continents. Moreover, the position of the glory team is mine. Qin Tiansheng's eyes were determined as he stepped into the perfect world of profound meaning. Lin Feng will meet in the 3rd round. at the first glory team's base. Captain, Ming Ming puffed up her cheeks angrily, her cheeks red. You're saying that I'm not as strong as Lin Feng? Light Man smiled. Don't be discouraged, Ming Ming. There aren't many who have been recognized by the origin energy like Lin Feng. Ming Ming pouted. No way. You, Lin Feng, and Ruo Ming are the only ones in the first glory team who don't have the origin energy. Light Man laughed involuntarily. How can you compare them? You're a holy power cultivator. What you cultivate is the soul of talent. That's not fair. Ming Ming pouted. Why are holy power cultivators so weak? Light Man shook his head. Holy power cultivators aren't weak. Although they don't have the origin energy, they have the heaven tier cultivation. Although the origin energy explosion is strong, it can't last long. Before the grand nirvana, they're not as strong as the heaven tier cultivation. For example, that little monster from the last Alliance of 11 could beat the experts of the glory team into submission. Meng Ming's eyes were filled with longing. He's really powerful. Light Man said, Ming Ming, if you want to increase your strength, you should try cultivating the heaven tier cultivation. The heaven tier cultivation has 3 hearts, the divine heart, the demonic heart, and the human heart. You just need to choose one. The divine heart cultivation not only requires a strong bloodline, but also talent and opportunity. It's too difficult. But the human heart cultivation is different. No matter who it is, even a common child can do it. You have a lively personality and are straightforward. You're most suitable for the self-cultivation path or the self-cultivation path. Ming Ming opened her eyes wide in curiosity. The self and the self are different? Of course. Light Man smiled. When you truly understand the difference, I believe you'll already have the heaven tier cultivation. Oh, Ming Ming raised her little face slightly, her eyes flashing. Territory 111. Peng. Lin Feng's sword chi was unstoppable. Divine patterns flashed on his hands, but the surging overlord's power was controlled by the true dragon's saint power. It was like 2 strange powers that couldn't find a point of compatibility to reach a normal state of fusion. Lin Feng frowned as he sheathed his sword. This situation had been going on for 3 days, and there was no progress. All energies, even those that repel each other, can be fused. Lin Feng was very clear. This was because the essence of energy was the same, and so was the realm of power. If they couldn't fuse, it could be because his realm was too low, or because it was more difficult to fuse, like light and darkness, water and fire, which were extremely repulsive energies, couldn't be compared to the fusion of earth and earth, or metal and thunder. The true dragon sword realm uses the sword heart as the foundation and the true dragon saint power as the supplement. Is it because my sword heart's realm isn't enough, so I can't withstand the bloodline overlord's power? Lin Feng stood with his sword heart. His expression was calm. The existence of his sword heart turned into a force that rippled. His sword heart was at the first level of perfection. It was invincible in the 33 continents, but it was somewhat weak in the Nirvana realm. Ma Yingjie, whom he had defeated, was at the second level of sword heart, minute. Giant Kuei was at the second level of hammer heart, perfect. Even Hong Bao was at the second level of initial enlightenment. The first level was too ordinary. From a first level of perfection to the first level of perfection, I need a lot of actual combat. Lin Feng nodded. He instantly thought of the glory world. That was the place where ace soldiers went most often to hone themselves. Actually, why should I take the long route? To be continued. Chapter 829. Using Blade Heart as the foundation, adding true Dragon Saint power and Bloodline Overlord's combat power is definitely good. But one can never get tired of biting off more than one can chew. Fusing 3 types of power might not be as good as fusing 2 types of power. The key is the degree of fusion. Lin Feng nodded. The black stallion in his hand burned and vibrated. In an instant, Overlord's combat power surged. True Dragon Saint power and Blade Heart are actually hard to achieve perfect fusion. Most of the time, True Dragon Saint power is used as a support. But the battle prowess of the Bloodline Tyrant King is different. Originally, My saber art was driven by the battle prowess of the Tyrant King. Now that I've fused them together, I'll definitely be able to reach the perfect level. Lin Feng's heart moved as he began to practice his saber art. The execution of the saber technique came naturally, almost instantly. Whoosh! His blade technique realm was already beginning to show signs of Overlord's combat power. That's it. Lin Feng was satisfied. Sometimes, one had to give up what one needed to give up. It was a forced fusion. Without True Dragon Saint power, the power was undoubtedly lacking. But a normal fusion was different. Blade Heart Realm, True Dragon Saint power, and Bloodline Overlord's combat power were difficult to achieve a normal fusion. But in less than 2 hours, Blade Heart Realm and Bloodline Overlord's combat power had already fused. They relied on each other and unleashed a super strong combat power. Bang! The power was released. Lin Feng smiled. It's almost equivalent to level 2 of Intricate Realm. It's better than Hong Bao and similar to Ma Yingjie's power realm. Continue. Lin Feng did not stop. Level 2 of Intricate Realm, in the third round of the qualification battle, would probably still be at the bottom. In a situation where Blade Heart Realm is hard to improve, Bloodline Overlord's combat power can reach a perfect fusion state. My level of power is complete, said Yifutian. It's not fair. Yeah, why doesn't Lin Feng need to carry out missions? His combat power points are far above the excellent 4,500 mark. Now that he's an ace captain, being able to advance to the third round of the qualification battle proves his actual combat power. If everyone is like him, creating a team with 7,000 points and using a lack of numbers as an excuse, then the ace army with 7,000 points and above won't need to carry out missions. That's right. It's too shameful to avoid the war like this. So what if the civil war is fierce? The real experts are the ones who dare to fight the monster race and demon race on the battlefield. Strong condemnation. The unreasonable rules must be changed. Inexplicably, rumors began to spread again. The news that Lin Feng didn't need to carry out missions spread throughout the Ace Army's territory. What do you mean? Yuan Shuang's face was frosty. If we don't handle it well, it will cause a commotion. Not only the Ace troops, but also the elite troops, Jin said seriously. Wei Xingyuan said, why go through all that trouble? Lin Feng is indeed obligated to go to the battlefield. Young people are proud and arrogant. They will only grow after experiencing more battles and blood. They won't be too arrogant and bite off more than they can chew. Yuan Shuang frowned. But Lin Feng's Chaos team has just been established. The two members, Yi Xia and Shi Manzi, are not even close to the 4,500 excellent line. How can they accept missions? Wei Xingyuan sneered. Could it be that Lin Feng doesn't need to accept missions if his team members don't have enough strength? If this continues for a long time, it will definitely cause dissatisfaction. Jin nodded. This matter indeed needs to be dealt with seriously. We need to plan it well. Day after day passed. It was the 1st of October, and the third round of the Path of Glory qualification battle was getting closer and closer. Zheng, a powerful force appeared. It contained the battle prowess of an overlord, and it spread throughout the entire arena. Boundless saber chi spread out, and it transformed into a terrifying bloodline pressure. It was as if a mountain was pressing down. The pure saber energy erupted with the power of Saber Heart. Ha! Lin Feng's eyes lit up. It's finally done. 4 days of hard work had paid off. His bloodline, overlord battle strength, and Saber Heart had perfectly merged. They had condensed into a whole, forming a unique Saber Heart world. Although Saber Heart was only at the first level of perfection, after the perfect fusion, his strength realm had surpassed one level, reaching the second level of perfection. It's about the same as Giant Kuei's Hammer Heart realm, but it's still inferior to his Kuei strength world. Even so, Lin Feng was already very satisfied. At least, even if his strength realm dragged him down, it wouldn't drag him down by too much, especially since the state of fusion and comprehension would not disappear. This meant that when his Saber Heart realm improved, his strength realm would also improve. It's not difficult to go from the first level of perfection to the limit of Saber Heart Realm. As long as I have enough experience in actual combat, I believe that I should be able to advance naturally, Lin Feng said. At that time, his Saber Heart Realm would perfectly merge with his Bloodline Overlord battle strength, and his Strength Realm would reach the limit of the second level, the same level as Giant Kuei's Kuei Strength World. Let's call it the Domineering Saber World. Lin Feng smiled. He came out of seclusion. There were still 10 days until the 1st of October. 10 days less than expected. Lin Feng was very satisfied. At that time, he had estimated that his strength would reach level 7 of the Sage Realm before the end of the month, and his Strength Realm would be stable. Now, it only took him 20 days to complete it. The 10 days saved would undoubtedly increase his combat strength by quite a bit. Sir, Butler Gongsun said respectfully with a smile. Lin Feng's reputation had skyrocketed, and so had Gongsun. Now, his status in the Ace Army was quite high. Tell me what happened in the past 20 days. Lin Feng said softly. Every time he ended his seclusion, he would find out what happened in the Glory Alliance of Seven. After all, in this environment, he couldn't ignore what was happening outside. Butler Gongsun would filter and organize these things. Yes, sir. Butler Gongsun bowed. After a long time, not going to the battlefield, deliberately avoiding the mission, Lin Feng couldn't help but laugh. If you want to pin a crime on someone, you can always find a pretext. He didn't do anything, and he was inexplicably accused of this crime. He felt helpless. Someone must be jealous of you, sir, so they used this despicable trick. Butler Gongsun said, or it's an opponent who advanced to the 3rd round like you, sir. They hope to exhaust your energy and weaken your strength. Lin Feng nodded. Indeed, it was possible. Sir, do you want to clarify it? Butler Gongsun asked. No need. Lin Feng shook his head. Everyone is prejudiced, and explaining is pointless. Plus, it's true that I didn't go to the battlefield. Smiling casually, Lin Feng said, Don't care about what others say. As long as you get past yourself, what will happen will happen. Yes, sir. Butler Gongsun nodded. Suddenly, as if he thought of something, Gongsun said, Oh right, sir, other than Yi Xia and Shi Manzi, Huashan came to find you many times. Should I send someone to inform him? Huashan. Chapter 830. Sir Lin. Huashan greeted him with a smile the moment he entered. Lin Feng nodded slightly. I heard that brother Hua came looking for me a few times. Yes. It's a pity that Sir Lin is busy and did not have the chance to meet me. Huashan was very humble. He stole a glance at Lin Feng and smiled flatteringly. I am here to congratulate Sir Lin on your successful advancement. I also have a gift for you. As he spoke, he handed over a golden booklet. Lin Feng took it. I have spent a lot of effort to collect this. It contains all the information on the 14 contestants. I hope it will be of help to Sir Lin. Huashan stole a glance at Lin Feng's expression, but he was disappointed. Lin Feng only flipped through a few pages and closed the booklet. Brother Hua, do you have a request? Lin Feng smiled. No. Sir Lin, you are treating me like an outsider. Huashan said. You and I are in the same team. We should help each other. However, Qianhe caused trouble. Although I'm very unwilling, I have to compromise. Lin Feng understood. Huashan was here to express his goodwill and hoped that he would let bygones be bygones. As Manzi had said, Huashan was a petty person. He was a hypocrite who swayed with the wind. Qianhe is brother Hua's team leader. It is not good to criticize him behind his back, is it? Lin Feng said. Huashan said righteously, I won't hide it from Lord Lin, but I really can't stand it. Qianhe is petty, jealous, lecherous, and greedy. He suffers from a heart exfoliation disease. Small things can make him jealous. Cardiac epidermal detachment disease? Lin Feng was surprised. Glass heart for short, Huashan said. Lin Feng laughed involuntarily. Sir Lin, you may not know, but the reason why the rumors are spreading is because of Qianhe. Huashan sighed. This person is jealous. He would do something that harms others without benefiting himself. I was blind to follow such a team leader. If only I could follow Sir Lin. As he spoke, Huashan looked at Lin Feng with pleading eyes. Lin Feng nodded. He had already guessed it. Besides Qian He, no one else would be so bored as to secretly slander him. Looking at Huashan, Lin Feng knew what he meant, but he would not accept him into the Chaos Squad. This kind of two-faced villain would betray Qian He today, and he would betray him in the future. Furthermore, the grudge between him and Yi Xia was extremely deep. I understand. Lin Feng asked, "Is there anything else?" Huashan was slightly stunned. He shook his head in disappointment. "No." Lin Feng said, "All right, Brother Hua, please return." "Then I'll have to trouble Lord Lin," Huashan said humbly. Lin Feng nodded lightly. Looking at Huashan's departing back, he didn't have much of a reaction. There was no deep hatred between him and Huashan. Moreover, he had already helped Yi Xia vent his anger a few times. As the saying goes, don't kill a surrendered soldier. Naturally, he wouldn't bother with a despicable person. As for the enmity between him and Yi Xia, it was up to them to resolve it themselves. "Lord, Miss Manzi is here," housekeeper Gong Sunwen said. "Oh." Lin Feng's eyes lit up. She came alone, fluttering in the wind. She was wearing a red dress and had a charming smile. Seeing Shi Manzi, Lin Feng's heart warmed. They were already very familiar with each other. "I saw Huashan when I came in," Shi Manzi said. Lin Feng nodded. "He's here to apologize." Shi Manzi smiled. This fence-sitter really knows how to take advantage of the situation. Lin Feng smiled. "That's because he's a vengeful person. That's why. He looks at everyone the same way." Shi Manzi glanced at him flirtatiously. "Don't you always say that you have to take revenge?" Lin Feng laughed. "I'm different from Huashan. I'm just following my heart." "All right, Manzi, how did you know I'd come out?" "My little maid has been keeping an eye on him for me." Shi Manzi smiled charmingly. "If you bring a girl into the territory, she'll know immediately." Lin Feng didn't know whether to laugh or cry. After getting familiar with each other, there was no barrier between them. They could talk about anything. In fact, he could guess that the maid in Manzi's residence was familiar with the maid in his territory. "You're in such a hurry to find me. Manzi, have you broken through 4,500 points?" "I broke through 10 days ago." Shi Manzi approached, her fragrance assailing his nostrils. Her charming shoulders were slightly bare. "Aren't you going to reward me?" Her breath was like an orchid, like a seductive fairy. Even though Lin Feng had a strong will, he still felt his heartbeat quicken. "I'll stop teasing you." Shi Manzi blinked, her eyes filled with mischief. A thick book appeared in her hand, and she tossed it over. Lin Feng reached out and caught it. He didn't need to look at it. It was the information on the third round of the Path of Glory. Know yourself and know your enemy. Only then can you win 100 battles. Shi Manzi smiled charmingly. Her gaze suddenly stopped on a golden book on the table. "This is..." Lin Feng glanced at it. He took the golden book that Huashan had given him and smiled. A streak of holy qi gushed out and turned the booklet into nothingness. A useless booklet. Really? Shi Manzi blinked her eyes. How could someone as smart as her not know? But Lin Feng's actions made her feel very sweet. Shi Manzi said softly, "Little Xia and I both have over 4,500 points. It's just that we haven't tested it yet. Now that there are rumors everywhere, Lin Feng, if you want to feel free to find us." "Okay," Lin Feng said. He knew that the reason why Manzi and Yi Xia hadn't broken through was because of him. This was because when an ace soldier's points reached 4,500 points, they had to carry out missions on the battlefield. Now that he had advanced to the third round of the Path of Glory, if he carried out missions, he would waste time cultivating. Therefore, Manzi and Yi Xia hadn't tested it yet. "How are Wu Daozi and Shui Xue?" Lin Feng asked. Shi Manzi shook her head. "Wu Daozi's improvement is faster, almost reaching 4,000 points. Shui Xue's progress is slightly slower." "What about Ronghua?" Lin Feng asked. "They did as you asked, but Ronghua refused to accept them." Shi Manzi said, "This guy has a bad temper in the Blood Tower. He doesn't listen to force or persuasion. His ego is so big that he wants to climb up to the Ace Army with his own strength." "Is that so?" Lin Feng smiled. When he, Manzi, Shui Xue, and Ronghua went to the Dark God Mountain together, they had fought side by side. Of course, they wouldn't miss out on Ronghua. Moreover, when they reached the Nirvana stage, they would return to the Blood Tower. Different from the 33 continents, the Blood Tower in the Nirvana world was far inferior to the status in the 33 continents. Ronghua was one of them, and the Blood Tower could have more strength. But Ronghua had his own plans, and with his pride, it was inconvenient to force him. Let him be, Lin Feng said. I believe that with Ronghua's aptitude and potential, he should be able to rise to the ace army in the second half of the year. Shimanzi said, he has now squeezed into the top 100. Sure enough, it was as expected. Well, come with me, Manzi, Lin Feng said and left the hall. Where are we going? Shimanzi was surprised. The Ace Army Camp. Chapter 831. The Ace Military Camp was where the various Ace squads received their missions and set off. The first floor was where missions were handed in, while the second floor was the departure floor, with several St. Crystal transmission arrays that led to the nearby battlefield. The elite territories also had their own elite military camps, but they were much larger than the Ace military camp. The Ace military camp was relatively empty. After all, there were only 7 Ace squads. They were either out on a mission or had already completed their quota, and one of them was the newly formed Chaos Squad. Relatively speaking, the second half of each month was a bit more lively, and missions were often accepted during this period. At this moment, the Kuei Squad and the Phoenix Squad were here, and the captains of the 2 squads, Qianhe and Poppy, were both present to check the available missions. I, Qianhe, am not bragging, but although I am not particularly strong, at least I have a heart of self-sacrifice and have always contributed to the well-being of humanity. Qianhe talked nonstop, his saliva flying everywhere. On the other hand, Lin Feng clearly has such strong strength, but he is selfish and thinks of ways to avoid missions. Poppy said the Chaos Squad should not have enough people. If they don't have enough people, they can borrow. Besides, isn't Lin Feng worth 10 people by himself? If he really wants to protect humanity, there will always be a way. Qianhe patted his chest. When I was Lin Feng's age, I was already on the battlefield, and my hand were covered in the blood of the demon and monster race. Is that so? Poppy replied. Of course. Qianhe said proudly. If I were Lin Feng, I would feel guilty about not being able to accept a mission and would rather help the other squads complete their missions without asking for anything in return. Poppy nodded. Then what kind of mission do you want to accept this time? A danger zone mission. Qianhe's face suddenly turned green, and he laughed dryly. I also want to accept a danger zone mission, but I am alone, and our Kuei squad's combat strength is slightly lacking. Moreover, the Kuei squad's mission has always been to protect ordinary humans. Killing monsters on the battlefield is more suitable for us. Poppy said, that's right. It just so happens that the demon race is rampant in Battlefield 1, and we urgently need reinforcements. Qianhe's cheeks twitched, his words stuck in his throat. At that moment, a sound came from behind him, causing Qianhe to turn around, and his eyes lit up. Lin Feng? Why is he here? She glanced at the seductive Shimanzi beside Lin Feng. Qianhe's eyes were filled with jealousy. Poppy said in surprise, he's the captain of the Chaos Squad after all. Is it strange for him to come here? Qianhe was momentarily stunned. It was Lin Feng, together with Shimanzi, one on the left and one on the right. They looked like a perfect couple. This was enough to make Qianhe's heart ache and burn with jealousy. Didn't you say that you don't care about what others think? Shimanzi smiled charmingly. Lin Feng smiled. I want to go to the battlefield and see what it's like, fighting and killing, fighting to the death with the demon race and the devil race. Shimanzi shrugged nonchalantly. Battlefield, Lin Feng's thoughts raced. It was something that happened a long time ago, but only a few years ago. It was imprinted in the depths of his memory. The battlefield is a true battle. It is different from the glory realm. Lin Feng thought to himself. What he needed now was actual combat. He needed to fight again and again to improve his saber heart and consolidate his strength. Instead of going to the glory world to hone his skills, he might as well go to a real battlefield to broaden his horizons. The current him already had enough ability to protect himself. Glancing at Manzi's perfect side profile, there was another reason that he hadn't mentioned. That was because he would soon be promoted to the Glory Squad. When that time came, he would rather let Manzi join him. Yi Xia, Chue Shui, and the others were living under someone else's roof. It was better to let them make their own decisions and lead the Chaos team. However, their current strength was still insufficient, and they lacked actual combat experience. If they were to suddenly enter the battlefield, it was very likely that accidents would occur. Now is the time. Bring them along. Moreover, they could earn some military merits along the way. Using battle to support battle, the accumulation of funds and promotion in the early stages of the Nirvana world was the most difficult. At this time, there was someone to lead the way for them. After arranging everything, the road ahead would be much easier. Respect your inner thoughts. Lin Feng smiled. His gaze fell to the front. It was the Kuei squad and the Phoenix squad. He naturally knew them. Sweeping his gaze across the crowd, he nodded to Poppy. Lin Feng then checked the missions one by one. Each mission had a clear label and was divided into 3 categories. The first was a dangerous mission, the second was a battlefield mission, and the third was a normal mission. The difficulty decreased in order, but that wasn't necessarily the case. Some battlefield missions were likely to be more difficult than dangerous missions, and some battlefield missions were easier than normal missions. The simplest way to judge was military merits. Lin Feng naturally understood the duties of the Ace Squad. After all, he was now the captain of the Chaos Squad, and in his position, he had to do his job. The Ace Squad was required to carry out a battlefield mission every month, and the military merits earned every 6 months must reach a certain total amount. If it was not carried out, the first warning would be a penalty of military merits, the second would be a direct punishment and a large amount of military merits, the third demoted to the elite army. But there was a trick to this. The difficulty level of the battlefield missions was different, and the danger level of each battlefield was also different. Between the humans' 7th domain and the Yao and Demon races, there were 32 battlefields of different sizes, of which the most intense battles were in battlefields 1, 2, and 3. Especially in Battlefield 1, there was a small battle with the Demon race every 3 days and a big battle every 5 days. And in Battlefields 30, 31, and 32, there were only sporadic battles. The difference was like heaven and earth. Are you here to accept a mission? Poppy looked over. Lin Feng nodded. Poppy said, is the Chaos Squad enough? Yes. Lin Feng said, at least 3 people can accept a mission. Poppy's beautiful eyes were slightly surprised, glancing at Shimanzi. The more people there are, the higher the chance of survival, and the more military merits accumulated. 3 people is the minimum requirement. He sneered at the side. A group of soldiers, to be able to gather 3 people, is already not bad. Yes, only 3 people. Lin Feng ignored Qian He and looked at Poppy. Do you have any good suggestions? Poppy's beautiful eyes flashed. Your situation is special. This disturbance is man-made. The 3 army commanders are already dealing with it. I heard that it even alarmed the White Ram Army Lord. I believe there will be a result soon. Qian's expression changed slightly, his body trembling slightly. Even the White Ram Army Lord was alarmed. Lin Feng smiled. Since our Chaos Squad has met the requirements, we should do our part on the battlefield. It has nothing to do with others. Poppy revealed a faint smile, then pointed to the middle of the battlefield missions, then go to Battlefield 17. The situation is relatively calm now, and there are not many casualties. Familiarize yourself with the battlefield environment and rhythm first, then take on the difficult battlefield missions. Lin Feng nodded slightly. Progressing step by step was a safe method. Looking at Shimanzi, the latter nodded in agreement. It can't be Captain Lin Feng, who can even defeat Glory. Vice Captain Giant Kuei is going to Battlefield 17? Qianhe's mocking voice sounded from behind. You are so weak that it makes people laugh their heads off. I thought you were strong. TSK. Didn't make it up yesterday. I'll make it up today. Chapter 832. Qianhe's voice was not loud. However, the military camp was empty. Everyone present was powerful, so they could hear the mockery and ridicule loud and clear. Poppy turned his head and looked at Qianhe. Oh, then in Captain Qianhe's opinion, which battlefield should Captain Lin Feng choose? The stronger you are, the greater the responsibility. Qianhe raised his head. Captain Lin Feng can even defeat Giant Kuei, so he should choose battlefield 1 to 3. If not, battlefield 4 to 6 is fine. Battlefield 17, TSK. As he said this, he revealed a look of disdain. Lin Feng's lips curled up. He knew that Qianhe was trying to provoke him, especially since he had set the battlefield 1 to 6. But the battlefield currently only had battlefield 1. That's not right. Poppy said, Captain Lin Feng's strength is not bad, but the Primal Chaos team has just been formed and they're all rookies. It's too dangerous for them to rashly enter battlefields 1 to 6. Qianhe shook his head. It's because the Primal Chaos team is made up of rookies that they need more experience on the battlefield. How can they train if they go to battlefield 17? Moreover, Qianhe glanced at Lin Feng with a smile that was not a smile. With Captain Lin Feng's strength, protecting 2 members shouldn't be a problem, right? Lin Feng smiled. Captain Qian, he doesn't need to worry about the Primal Chaos team. After saying this, he continued to look at the battlefield missions. This kind of small effort made Qianhe tremble in anger. He felt that he was being looked down upon, especially in front of so many people. New and old hatred surged in his heart. Qianhe's face turned red as he roared. Lin Feng, are you a man or not? Qianhe, don't go too far. Shi Manzi's face was cold. A man talking all day long. Aren't you ashamed? Manzi you. Qianhe's eyes widened. What is Manzi for you to call me that? Shi Manzi said unhappily, leaning close to Lin Feng. If you have the ability, then go and take battlefield 1 yourself. You only know how to talk. You're just bragging. Qianhe's face turned red. If they were to really bicker, he was no match for Shi Manzi. Lin Feng couldn't help but laugh when he saw this. He didn't expect her to be so flirtatious. Even Shi Manzi, who had a pleasant smile, had a side that resembled an ordinary woman. You're not allowed to laugh, Shi Manzi said angrily. This kind of feminine expression caused Qianhe's heart to explode with jealousy. Blood essence rushed to his head. Who says I don't dare to accept the first battlefield mission? Just now I was discussing with Captain Poppy. The demon race is rampant in Battlefield 1, so we urgently need reinforcements. Isn't that right, Poppy? Poppy nodded his head lightly. Qianhe, are you really going to accept the first battlefield mission? Of course. Qianhe patted his chest and finally raised his head. I'm not like those cowards who only know how to hide behind women. Whoosh! Lin Feng raised his hand. Light flashed, and Qianhe hurriedly caught it. His eyes widened. In his hand was an ace mission token. The number 1 was clearly engraved on it. It was the ace mission token from battlefield mission number 1. There were rules in the ace barracks. You had to take the corresponding mission token for whatever mission you accepted. Once you got it, you couldn't put it back. Clap, clap. Lin Feng clapped his hands lightly. Captain Qian, he truly has courage. Lin Feng, Qianhe clenched his teeth. In truth, he regretted his words the moment they left his mouth. But he did not want to lose face in front of the 2 beauties. Just as he was thinking of how to get it back, who would have thought that Lin Feng would suddenly throw the ace mission token from Battlefield 1 to him? Once he got it, it became a hot potato. Captain, the 2 members of the Kuei squad had ashen faces. It was extremely ugly. Battlefield 1, that was a blood-red hole in hell. Not far away, there was a loud laughter. A short, muscular man walked over with a majestic gait. Behind him was Lung Yucheng. Su Shi and the others were the captain of the Bai Zhe squad, the current number 2 in the ace barracks, Wu Qi. Qianhe, did you eat the wrong medicine today to actually accept the first battlefield mission? Wu Qi asked in surprise. Wu Qi, what do you mean? Qianhe raged. Nothing. Wu Qi spread out his big hands, giving a thumbs up. Just a little accident, very good. Saying so, he patted Qianhe's shoulder, laughing loudly. Qianhe's mouth also twitched. Suayer glanced at Lin Feng. Of course, I'm not like some people who only talk and don't do anything. There are still 2 ace mission tokens from Battlefield 1. Giving out 3 tokens, it shows that the war situation is tense. The demons are on the offensive. That's right, Wu Qi said seriously. Commander, he has already given the order. Our Bai Zhe squad will immediately move out after gathering. Saying so, Wu Qi directly took the other ace mission token, looking at Lin Feng. That's right, Brother Lin. Isn't the Primal Chaos squad temporarily not required to accept missions? Qianyi scoffed. Why not? The Primal Chaos squad already has 3 people who meet the requirements of battle strength. Wu Qi's brow furrowed. No, Commander, he has just announced. The White Ram Army Master has personally ordered the Primal Chaos Squad to be exempt from battle for 3 months. Starting from the first month of next year, no matter how many people there are, they will be counted as a normal A squad. Lin Feng said in surprise. When was this? Not long ago. Wu Qi turned to look at Lung Yuqing. Lung Yuqing nodded. Half an hour ago. Qianyi's face was bitter, swallowing his teeth. He had originally wanted to harm Lin Feng, but didn't think he would be the one to fall into the hole. This time, it was extremely rare for Battlefield 1 to be in an emergency. The demons would definitely be on the move. Going to the battlefield now was extremely dangerous. Right? Wu Qi said. Commander, he also said that the White Ram army is angry and wants to capture the rumor monger and punish them heavily. Qianyi, what's wrong? No, nothing. We're about to go to Battlefield 1, so I'm a bit excited. Qianyi's smile was forced, his spine cold. The White Ram army is angry and will punish the rumor monger? Thinking of this, Qianyi felt terror spread from the bottom of his heart. Ha, we're kindred spirits. Wu Qi laughed heartily. I'm also very excited right now. This time, I can finally kill to my heart's content with those damn demons. His eyes bright. Wu Qi swept his gaze over the crowd. Everyone, our Bai Zhe squad will leave first. Wait. Qianyi's eyes lit up. Let's go together. Moving together with the Bai Zhe squad, the danger level would naturally decrease. Qianyi's reaction was also very fast. All right. Wu Qi nodded heavily. Let's go kill all the demons. Wu Qi and Qianyi left, and the ace camp instantly became much emptier. Poppy's beautiful eyes looked at Lin Feng. Manzi also looked over and said softly, What do we do? Lin Feng smiled. Whether or not we announce, it is not important. Lin Feng reached out to take the Battlefield 1 mission token and placed it in his bosom. Just follow your heart. Since we're going to the battlefield, then let's go to a lively place. Up to you. Manzi smiled charmingly. Lin Feng smiled and nodded. Captain Poppy, goodbye. Saying this, he left with Manzi. That day, the 4 of them even dared to kill their way into the Dark God Mountain. How could they be afraid of a battlefield mission? They were originally Blood Tower assassins. Chapter 833. Departure 3 days later. Lin Feng wasn't in a hurry. Manzi and Yixia hadn't been tested yet, so he couldn't use the Ace mission token to carry out missions. Despite the announcement, Lin Feng didn't plan to give up on the mission, because right now, he needed enough real combat experience. Ever since he entered the Nirvana world, he had been staying in the Glory 7. It was time to go out and see the real Nirvana world, the real battlefield. Earning some battle points isn't bad. Lin Feng stepped into the cultivation room. Battle points would be used sooner or later. Although he had more than 20,000 battle points now, and could get another 20,000 battle points at the end of September, he wouldn't have any income after October. If he wanted to earn battle points, he could only do missions. Increasing strength wasn't just for cultivation. Heavenly Saint weapons, cultivation grounds, armors, and holy treasures were all very useful. But right now, other than the extreme grade Heavenly Saint weapon, Black Lotus, he didn't have any other extreme grade holy treasures. In fact, extreme grade Heavenly Saint weapons weren't much after reaching the Nirvana realm. Perfect Heavenly Saint weapons and perfect holy treasures would appear, and a perfect holy treasure would cost more than 100,000 battle points. Glory level was very difficult to increase. The simplest and most commonly used method is to carry out missions on the battlefield. Killing demon race and Yao race experts will not only give you battle points, but also increase your glory level. Lin Feng sat cross-legged. If you're lucky, you can even get a military medal and exchange it for heavenly treasures in the glory treasury. Third-class military medal could be exchanged for heavenly treasures, such as the Big Dipper disc. Lin Feng knew how important treasures were to a warrior. This time, without the Big Dipper disc, even with light source, he couldn't win against Giant Kuei. If he was lucky, he could even get a second-class military medal and exchange it for heavenly treasures. In the Nirvana world, the lowest heavenly treasures cost more than 10,000 battle points. Normal ones cost around 20,000 to 30,000 battle points. Medium ones cost around 40,000 to 50,000 battle points. Extreme-grade Heavenly Saint weapons like Black Lotus cost around 80,000 to 100,000 battle points. From housekeeper Gong Sun, Lin Feng had a general understanding of the prices in the Nirvana world. For an ordinary person, perhaps 40 to 50,000 points was enough for a lifetime, but for a warrior who wanted to reach the Nirvana realm, he couldn't even buy a decent top-quality Heavenly Saint weapon. However, the Glory Treasury was different. It could be exchanged directly in the Glory Treasury. Most importantly, it didn't require a glory rank. Although the medal can only be obtained by chance, there is always a chance. Battlefield 1 is the central battlefield between the 7th domain and the demon race. The importance of this is self-evident. This time, the humans are definitely at a disadvantage and will definitely be rewarded with a military medal, Lin Feng said. Naturally, he would not accept Qianni's provocation, but he could not miss out on something beneficial. With his current strength, regardless of whether he could obtain a military medal, it shouldn't be a problem for him to keep his life. We'll set off in 3 days. Lin Feng's hand flashed with light, and a mountain of 882 lightning-type manuals appeared before him. Light element, dark element, high-level profound meaning, secret manuals on how to use Saint energy, all kinds of unorthodox techniques were available. These were the manuals he bought in the 33 continents. 10 Blood Corps members could obtain secret manuals for free. I need to cultivate a perfect, profound meaning. I'll give up on lightning type and darkness type for now. Lin Feng began to filter. It was not bad to comprehend in the profound meaning realm. However, he had condensed the light core, and it was 10 times the light core. His comprehension of light was quite strong. Secret manuals were better. The perfect profound meaning in the profound meaning realm was usually just a few words casually written and directly manifested with power. There were also many obscure words, poems, and so on. There were very few things like the divine light steel. However, secret manuals were different. Although they didn't manifest power and didn't provide a direction to comprehend profound meaning, they were more detailed and recorded more. Soon, Lin Feng finished filtering. There were 882 secret manuals. Among them, there were 2 lightning-type profound meanings, 3 lightning-type profound meanings, and 3 darkness-type profound meanings. These were the results of the Blood Towers plundering in the 33 continents. There were only 8 secret manuals in total, which was less than 1% of the total number of secret manuals. This wasn't surprising. It was already good to comprehend a high-grade profound meaning in the 33 continents. Comprehending a top-grade profound meaning was rare. These perfect profound meanings basically all came from the Nirvana world. Sun Yin, the perfect profound meaning of the brilliant Tao. It's inclined toward defense. 7 Jin arrows, the perfect profound meaning of the Tao of light. It's very strong in single-target attacks. White crane glimmer, the perfect profound meaning of the Tao of light. It's half attack and half support. Lin Feng quickly flipped through them. Every secret manual had a detailed description of the perfect profound meaning. However, the records of the perfect profound meaning were more about comprehension. Because everyone walked different paths, the direction of comprehension was also different. The perfect profound meaning required a true understanding to unleash the power of the profound meaning. Unfortunately, there are no vortex-type manuals. Lin Feng didn't care too much. Now that he had the tenfold light core, it wasn't hard for him to comprehend the profound meaning of light. Before he condensed the light core, he could easily comprehend high-grade and even top-grade profound meanings by relying on his vortex-type body. Now, he could do the same. However, high-grade and top-grade profound meanings were too different from the perfect profound meaning in terms of realm. The brilliant Tao of light, Sun Yin, has super strong defense. It can unleash the power of the perfect profound meaning of Sun Yin. Not only can it make up for my weakest defense, but it can also instantly turn defense into offense. Relying on the endurance of my light core, having Sun Yin is like having an immortal body. In an evenly matched battle, just as the opponent's proudest attack was about to land, he could use Sun Yin. At that time, he could give the exhausted opponent a head-on attack. The Tao of Light is the most focused on single-target attacks among the 6 Tao of Light. It's also the most powerful Tao of Light. Lin Feng nodded inwardly. Earth's high-tech laser weapons use the ability of the Tao of Light. The 7 Jin arrows can not only perfectly fuse with the 7 limits, but more terrifyingly, it's the same as an arrow. Even if it's a single target attack, its power can't be underestimated, especially when the power of the light core explodes. It can be used in both close and long-range attacks, although it couldn't be used in group battles. In a one-on-one battle, the absolute power of the 7 Jin arrows could be fully displayed. Its power was unparalleled. The Tao of Light, White Crane Glimmer. It can be used for direct attacks, turning into a white crane to attack at the speed of light. It can also be used as a support to increase the attack speed. It's the most comprehensive and perfect profound meaning of the 3 profound meanings. Lin Feng muttered to himself. The 3 secret manuals were all good, but his time was limited. Focusing on one of them was the best choice. Let's go with this. Lin Feng quickly made his decision and smiled. 2 updates today. Brothers, tomorrow's 4th update will be added. Chapter 834. Lin Feng flipped open White Crane Glimmer again. Even though the other 2 profound intents were not bad, the most suitable one for him was the White Crane Glimmer of the Light Tao. Firstly, it was because the White Crane Glimmer of the Light Tao was the most comprehensive, and secondly, he had the deepest connection with the Light Tao and Light Tao among the 6 Taos of Light. In terms of single-target attack, 7 Jin arrows is definitely stronger than White Crane Glimmer. If my light source was not enough, 7 Jin arrows would be the best, but now that my light heart has changed, it has expanded by 10 times, and the abundant light source is able to fully display White Crane Glimmer's comprehensive nature. Lin Feng read page by page carefully, although he had a clear memory in his mind. Every time he read it, he would have a new understanding. After reading it 100 times, the meaning would appear naturally. White Crane Glimmer could be used for both attack and support. It was quite outstanding. Glimmer is the starting point of Light Tao. It is also the true beginning that can be crowned with the word light, pointing directly at the true meaning of light. Lin Feng read softly. His mind was immersed in the concept of White Crane Glimmer, understanding the meaning of every word. Light Tao is the most widely used path of light. It is everywhere. The more you comprehend Light Tao, the higher your realm, the further you can walk. One day, not only will your profound meaning reach light, even your physical body will reach light. Lin Feng sighed. Physical body reaching light? That's too exaggerated. White Crane Glimmer is a kind of derivation of glimmer. The true meaning of light is formless, seemingly real, but illusory. If you can fully comprehend White Crane Glimmer, you will be able to touch the true meaning of glimmer, obtain the recognition of the light source, and step onto the Light Tao. Lin Feng stared at the 3 pictures in the secret manual. The first picture of a white crane was extremely blurry, even abstract. The second picture of a white crane spreading its wings, it was quite artistic. And the third picture, this should be the true form of White Crane Glimmer. Lin Feng said softly. In the picture, the white crane turned from real to illusory, condensing into an afterimage of light. It gave him the deepest impression. He did not flip to the back. It was a detailed description of some of his comprehension of cultivation. He had already memorized all of them. Lin Feng did not move. He stared at the first picture of the white crane. As if he was petrified, he instantly entered a state of comprehension. Is Lin Feng crazy? You're going to Battlefield 1 for your first mission. It's crazy. Don't use your way of thinking to make guesses. Although Battlefield number 1 is extremely dangerous, only the primordial sky fiends are participating in the battle. Lord Lin Feng can even defeat Giant Kuei's vice captain. His strength is comparable to the top tier of elite commanders. It's more than enough to protect myself. I heard that the demon race's offensive is very strong this time. Is that true? It's true. Many elite commanders are participating in the battle. Commander, he not only issued 3 ace mission tokens, but also directly sent out the Azure Dragon squad. After that, he ordered the White Fin squad to accept the mission. Including the Kuei squad, there are already 3 ace squads on the battlefield. Glory territory. Prepare to set off. Ing Jin bellowed. The general has finally given the order. Giant Kuei moved his head, and his bones cracked. Battlefield number 1 hasn't been so lively in a long time. The heart-piercing Marquis smiled and stuck out his tongue to lick the bayonet in his hand. I don't know what kind of medicine the demons ate this time. They're playing for real. On the battlefield, it's either you die or I live. When do the humans and demons ever play games? Yu Guei said. Go Xan Shio chuckled. What are you afraid of? As long as our second glory squad takes action, there's no mission we can't handle. Don't underestimate the enemy. Ing Jian's cold gaze swept over. The Ace Squad's Azure Dragon Squad, White Fin Squad, and Kuei Squad have already been out for 3 days. As far as I know, some Ace captains have already been killed, and the number of elite commanders has reached 5. That's why we need the second Glory Squad to take action. The heart-piercing Marquis was proud. Right, Captain, I heard that the Primal Chaos Squad will also participate in the battle. Should we? Go Xian Shio's beautiful eyes flashed with cold, killing intent. Ing Jian frowned. Why kill him? Go Xian Shio's beautiful face was very sinister. For the vice captain. For me? Giant Kuei's eyes widened. The mountain-like body moved. There's no need. Go Xian Shio clenched her teeth. He made our second glory squad lose face. Yu Guei coldly said, Don't make it sound so nice. Xian Shio, you're doing it for yourself. Go Xian Shio's face flushed red. Enough, I know what I'm doing. Ing Jian directly interrupted her and stepped out. Right now, the Army Lord's order is the priority. Take this opportunity to completely trample Lightman and the first Glory Squad under our feet. I want to let everyone know that our second Glory Squad is the strongest. Let's go. 3 days flew by. Thump, thump. A light knocking sound rang out. Lin Feng's eyes suddenly lit up, and he immediately sobered up, letting out a light breath. Lin Feng looked at the 3 paintings in front of him. His gaze once again fell on the second painting. The white crane that was about to spread its wings and soar into the sky was like a tiny dot of light, growing bigger and bigger from small to large, like a dancing fairy of light, extremely agile. Unfortunately, I was almost there. Lin Feng shook his head. If he had a little more time, perhaps a few days, a dozen days, or even a month, he would definitely be able to comprehend this second painting. But the time was up. It was he who asked Butler Gongsun to knock on the door. After all, business was more important. Since he had accepted the mission, he had to carry it out. Moreover, he had also reached a bottleneck in his comprehension. Although he was just a little bit away, but this little bit could be big or small. It's good to go out and train a bit. Anyway, even if I comprehend the second painting, it's still not enough. There's still the third painting. Lin Feng stood up. He did not care too much and immediately left the training room. In the hall, Yi Manzi and Yi Xia were already waiting. Blowing Snow and Wu Daozi also came, but the 2 of them did not reach 450 battle points, so they could not go together. I really want you guys to go together. Blowing Snow said, It's so boring to stay here every day. Wu Daozi said helplessly. Lin Feng smiled. It won't be long, for 150 points is not unattainable. Moreover, if you don't reach 450 points, it means that your battle strength is still not enough. It's too dangerous to go out rashly. Shimanzi nodded. This battle mission is very dangerous. It's fun when it's dangerous. Yixia said casually. Anyway, with Brother Lin here, there's nothing to be afraid of. Towards Lin Feng, Yixia blindly worshipped him. He was very grateful and held a very high position in his heart. Without Lin Feng, he would not be where he was now. Lin Feng nodded. I will do my best, but the battlefield is unpredictable. Little Xia, you still have to be careful. Compared to Shimanzi's maturity, Yixia still had the heart of a child, unrestrained and unrestrained. Taking the 3 green jade pendants from Butler Gongsun, Lin Feng passed them to the 2. This is a sensing jade. If you accidentally get separated, it'll be easier to meet up. Shimanzi and Yixia took them. Let's go. Lin Feng immediately stepped out of the hall destination, Battlefield 1. To be continued. Chapter 835. The Nirvana world was a chaotic place. The strong were respected. The humans, demons, and demons all had their own territories that were heavily guarded. The demons had the ancient Thousand Islands Sea, one of the 6 most dangerous places, as their center. The demons had the black demon Shi that was so dense that one could not see one's fingers. They occupied the death knell graveyard of the 6 most dangerous places. The humans were located on the continent, and their forces were the largest but the most scattered. There were a total of 12 territories helping each other, and they had the god ruins of the 6 most dangerous places, which created countless human experts. The 3 races were at war constantly. The demons and demons, the humans and demons, and the humans and demons, they were in a triangular situation, not giving way to each other. No one dared to make a move, but small fights were unavoidable. Therefore, there was the existence of the battlefield. The battlefield had its own rules. Human Nirvana experts could not participate in the battle. The Demon Sky Demon Ancestor, the Demon's Origin Ancestor, and the Demon Sky Demon Ancestor were not allowed to participate. This was the rules set by the strongest of the 3 races, because once the Origin Ancestor and Nirvana-level experts participated, the consequences would be unimaginable. So the army commanders cannot participate? Lin Feng asked. Shimanzi nodded. Sky Demon Ancestor and Sky Demon Ancestor look at us like how we look at ordinary people. Lin Feng somewhat understood. Just like the fights between children, adults usually would not participate. Immortals naturally would not care about the fights between mortals. But it's different when you enter the forbidden area, Shimanzi said. The forbidden area of each race is their headquarters, and other races are not allowed to enter. Once you enter, it will be seen as a provocation, and you will be killed. At this time, the top experts will most likely make a move. Lin Feng nodded. Just like a big tree with luxuriant leaves, you can pick some fruits, leaves, or even branches, but not if you endanger its roots. The demon race's forbidden area was the ancient sea, and the demon race's forbidden area was the black demon prison. Does the human race's forbidden area not include the 7th domain? Lin Feng asked. Of course. Shimanzi said, the human race's forbidden area is called the Miracle Garden, and it is formed by the 1st domain, 2nd domain, and 3rd domain. Miracle Garden? Yixia on the side said in a surprised voice, what a strange name. Shimanzi smiled charmingly. It was named after the 3 strongest human beings. Because they were the ones who created the human race's forbidden zone, it also symbolizes that this is a garden full of miracles, peaceful and quiet. I see. Lin Feng suddenly understood. No wonder the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd domains were the strongest. Therefore, from the 4th domain onwards, they were all built later? Lin Feng pondered. Shimanzi said, I heard that the 7th domain was originally the 15th domain. Because the human race developed too quickly, they gradually spread throughout the entire inland world. In the end, the demon race and the demon race joined forces to attack. In that battle, the human race suffered heavy casualties. Those who died, and those who fled. From 18 domains to 8 domains, our vitality was greatly damaged. No wonder there are only 12 domains, Yixia murmured. Lin Feng nodded. Clearly, the humans had restrained themselves a lot after that. After all, the human race never lacked geniuses, nor did they lack ambitious people, especially those Grand Rebirth Realm experts. Once they passed through the Grand Rebirth Realm, their strength was equivalent to stepping into the realm of immortals from mortals, and they were naturally unwilling to be left out. As the saying goes, one would rather be the head of a chicken than the tail of a phoenix. Power and status were not things that every martial artist could resist. As they spoke, the three had already passed through the second level of the Ace military camp, stepped onto the sacred crystal transmission formation, and entered the first battlefield. In the first military region, damn, the demon race has gone mad. If they continue to fight like this, they will be destroyed. I heard that there was a huge change in the Black Demon prison, which is why the demon race is so crazy, attacking and killing at all costs. I don't know if it's true or not. It must be false. What kind of place is the Black Demon prison? You can enter and leave? Don't talk about hearsay. There are too many rumors these days, whether it's us or the demon race. There are only a few top experts. The possibility of a huge change is not very likely. I think so too, but the demon race's attack this time feels too unusual. Even if it's not a huge change in the Black Demon prison, something must have happened to the demon race. Lin Feng stepped into the military region. Listening to the soldiers' discussion, he had a deeper understanding of the current situation. There are heavy casualties. Lin Feng scanned the surroundings. He could clearly sense that there were many weak auras, and almost all of them were injured. This was the military region, the only military region in the first battlefield, and also the last line of defense of the 7th region. Once it was breached, it would be like opening a door, and the demon race would charge directly into the 7th region. At that time, it would be difficult to stop them. Brother Lin, where are we going now? Yi Xia asked. To find the chief military commander. Lin Feng said. There were naturally commanders in war, and the ones in charge were all elite commanders. But for a large-scale attack like this, 10 out of 10 were ace commanders. As for the military commanders, they were not allowed to participate in the battle, and at most, they were in charge of the rear as strategists. Therefore, the status of ace commanders in the Glory Alliance was very high. Aren't we moving as a team? Yi Xia asked curiously. Lin Feng replied, the army has its rules. If every team disobeyed orders and ran around, it would be terrible. Shi Manzi smiled. Especially now that the situation is tense, it is even more impossible for us to move around as we please. Ace teams are usually the vanguard soldiers on the battlefield. Once the humans and the demon race clash, our ace teams will have to face the elites of the demon race. Yi Xia understood. If there is a chaotic battle, remember not to be more than 10 meters away from me. Lin Feng said. Okay. Shi Manzi and Yi Xia replied. 10 meters was a safe distance. Ta. Hurried footsteps sounded, and batch after batch of elite soldiers left the military region with serious expressions. Lin Feng was surprised. From the expressions of these elite soldiers, the situation seemed to be very serious. There was a commotion outside, and the shouts were like thunder, getting closer and closer. Lin Feng's expression suddenly changed, and he stopped and looked into the distance. What's wrong? Yi Xia and Shi Manzi also stopped. Lin Feng's eyes shone. Although he could not see from so far away, he could sense the aura clearly, and it would not lie. The demon race is attacking. Lin Feng opened his mouth. It can't be. Yi Xia's eyes widened. They're attacking the military region. Lin Feng nodded. It is the last line of defense. It seems like the situation is more serious than we thought. In these 3 days, the Glory Alliance army has been defeated. Then what should we do? Shi Manzi looked at Lin Feng. Let's go. Lin Feng turned around. Where to? Yi Xia and Shi Manzi did not understand. Isn't the commander in the most inner part of the military region? Lin Feng shook his head. On the battlefield, every second counts. Let's not waste time. Let's go and help first. Once the first military region was broken, the 7th region would be defenseless. Chapter 836. There's no need to look for it. Just follow the army and you would know where to go. Moreover, with the flames of war raging in the sky, just from the energy fluctuations and aura, you would know where the battle was and where the main defense point of the Glorious Seven Alliance was. Lin Feng's expression was grave. Judging from the current situation, the Glorious Seven Alliance's army was clearly at a disadvantage. Otherwise, they would not have been beaten to the military area. This was already the last line of defense. Yi Xia clenched his fists, unable to hide his excitement. For a youth who had just entered the battlefield, he would indeed be very excited, but that was only because he did not understand the cruelty of war. On the contrary, Shi Manzi was very calm. Her beautiful eyes glanced at Lin Feng. If you participate in the battle without being notified, not only will you not get the battle reward, the battle merits of killing demons will also be halved. The battle merits of the Glorious Seven Alliance were divided into two parts. One was the battle reward. As long as they complied with the military order and registered, they could receive a battle reward. For many soldiers who were weak in offense and strong in defense, the battle reward was the most important gain. The portion of the reward was not fixed. It was determined by the difficulty of the battle and the status of the participating soldier. For example, a soldier would receive 1 battle merit point. An elite soldier would receive 2 battle merit points. An official lieutenant would receive 5 battle merit points, and an elite lieutenant would receive 10 battle merit points. The battle rewards of the Ace team and the Glorious team were even more. As for the other component, it was even simpler. For every demon killed, there would be battle merit points, based on the heavenly demon nucleus. At that time, the rewards would be given according to the demon's bloodline and the level of the heavenly demon nucleus. The demon bloodline was very easy to identify. There were 4 levels: normal demons, 108 original demons, 10 original demons, and 4 ancient demons. For example, the original demons were the Blood Sun Demon Clan and the Purple Mark Demon Clan. For example, the Black Armor Demon Clan, and so on. Each of their clansmen had the potential and possibility of becoming an original demon. The 4 ancient demons were 1 level higher than the 10 original demons. For example, the Chiyu Demon Clan. For example, the Purple Eye Demon Clan. The upper limit of a human martial artist was determined by the origin point, bloodline, the ability to sense the energy of heaven and earth, etc. But demons were different. The upper limit of a demon was 90% determined by their bloodline. I know. Lin Feng nodded. Do we have a fight like this? Shi Manzi did not understand. Lin Feng understood what Shi Manzi meant. In fact, it was a sense of belonging. Manzi came from the 33 continents, so she didn't have a sense of belonging to the Nirvana world. No matter how the humans and demons fought here, it didn't matter. She only went to the battlefield because this was the mission of the Ace team. That was all. Including himself, he didn't have any sense of belonging to Nirvana world. On the contrary, he, who came from Earth, was hostile to the Nirvana world and even the entire Nemo planet. However, that was a separate matter. In one's position, one must plan their own affairs, Lin Feng said. Since we are part of Glory's Alliance 7 and have received their support and care, we should contribute to it. This is a responsibility. Right now, we have to go all out. Good. Yi Xia's eyes shone brightly. Shi Manzi's lips moved slightly, flickering with a glimmer of light. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly. Responsibility, boom, rumble, bang, 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 bang. The entire ground was blasted with rocks and soil flying everywhere. The sky had also become a battlefield. The airflow was chaotic, and a black fog was rising slowly. Blood flowed like a river. To deal with humans and demons, they had to fight in close combat. Once they were exposed in the sky, they would become live targets. In terms of the use of heaven and earth's energy and mastery of profound meanings, demons were far inferior to human warriors. Although demons were often very accomplished in the Tao of Darkness, it was extremely rare for primordial heavenly demons to comprehend a perfect, profound meaning. For example, Qi Wan, whose memories were devoured by Lin Feng, had only grasped high-level and top-level profound meanings. because more than 99% of demons focused on the Tao of strength and their own bloodline. Profound meanings were only supplementary to them. However, there were many Nirvana realm human warriors who had grasped a perfect profound meaning. Not 100%, but at least 50%. Some are even recognized by the origin energy. In the Nirvana realm, especially those who were close to the Grand Nirvana realm, the number was not small. Wow! Yixia's eyes widened in shock. Beside him, Shimanzi's beautiful eyes flashed. Although she had carried out countless missions in the Blood Tower and killed many demons, this was the first time she had seen a war between races like this. Lin Feng's eyes were also opened. Looking at the raging battle in front of him, his blood boiled. The war had begun. The demons charged in from all directions. The humans were on the defensive. With the support of the Saint Crystal Array, long-range profound meaning attacks were launched. There were also countless arrows mixed with elemental energy flying out. Shrill and shocking sounds of air breaking rang out. The demons' tragic howls shook the sky. Meteorites, tornadoes, lightning, and the earth collapsing, light and darkness were like two polar opposites. The moment they came into contact with each other, extreme explosions would erupt. For a time, the demons suffered heavy casualties. A few powerful great heavenly demons rushed out of the battle, but were quickly locked on and killed by human warriors. Brother Lin, when are we going? Yixia's eyes were shining. He can no longer hold back. It's still early. Lin Feng said, the war has just begun. The demons charging now are all cannon fodder with ordinary bloodlines. At most, they can only reach the level of great heavenly demons. I haven't even seen one of the 108 primordial heavenly demons, let alone the 10 great heavenly demons. They were like the soldiers of the official army of the Glorious Seven. In their entire lives, they could only reach the level of saint. It was the same for ordinary demons. Unless they were lucky enough to devour other high-level demons and mutate their bloodlines, great heavenly demons were the limit. Oh, is that so? Yixia's voice was slightly disappointed. Lin Feng looked at Yixia. Moreover, you are a saint energy cultivator. Your close combat attack and defense are not high. Although you can directly use your soul attack, you can't use it too much. Later, you will follow behind me. Manzi and I will protect you. In war, saint energy cultivators were the weakest, because their defense was weaker and war was not a one-on-one battle. Usually, they were surrounded by enemies. Saint energy cultivators could easily fall into danger. However, saint energy cultivators were very strong in one-on-one battles. Their attacks were strange, and they could take the enemy's head in the midst of 1,000 soldiers. Oh, Yixia looked disappointed. Lin Feng smiled. If you really want to go to war, you will need to prepare at least 3 saint artifacts. The first is an ascended saint artifact that is used for group attacks. The second is a saint artifact that is used for close combat. The third is a treasure that can save your life at the most critical moment. I don't have any. Yixia's face was sad. Take it slow. You will have them. Lin Feng patted Yixia's shoulder. Yixia sighed softly. Then, Brother Lin, can I do anything now? He wasn't willing to just be a burden and a burden. Of course not. Lin Feng smiled and shook his head. There is a mission that belongs to you. Shimanzi smiled. Chapter 837. Is that so? Yixia's eyes lit up. Sister Manzi, don't lie to me. Shimanzi gracefully moved her lotus-like fingers, pointing towards the boundless battlefield where the flames of war were swirling in the air. Do you see that? Yixia was startled. He was overjoyed, his face red. I understand, Sister Manzi. Lin Feng also smiled. After the first battle, demon corpses covered thousands of miles and blood flowed like a river. Countless heavenly demon cores littered the battlefield like ownerless objects. Because no one could get their hands on them now, it would be completely different when the war broke out. In a chaotic battle, it won't be easy for us to get the heavenly demon cores, but it's different for you. Shimanzi said lightly. Yixia smiled proudly. St. Force cultivators had powerful mental control. They didn't need to use their hands, they could just stand there and harvest the heavenly demon cores. There's also a storage ring, Shimanzi said, This is even more valuable than the heavenly demon cores. Many human experts have many treasures in their storage rings, as well as battle gems. With a charming smile, Shimanzi winked. Little Xia, how many battle merits we can earn this time depends on your performance. Leave it to me, Sister Manzi. Yi Xia patted his chest and promised, high-spirited. Lin Feng couldn't help but laugh. Looking at Shimanzi, the latter looked at him like a naughty little girl. As expected of Hall Master Hong Ying's disciple, Yi Xia was completely under her control. With just a few words, Yi Xia seemed to have been injected with chicken blood. But then again, what Manzi said was not wrong. In this kind of desperate battle, a Saint Force cultivator could increase the team's harvest by several times. The Chaos Squad, including himself, had 2 Saint Force cultivators. The second Glory Squad. When the time comes, you just need to collect the heavenly demon cores. Ying Jian said coldly. I definitely won't disappoint, Captain, Chenny said excitedly. He didn't expect that this would be a blessing in disguise, gaining the attention of the second Glory Squad's captain, Ying Jian. Not only did his scheme against Lin Feng fail, but he also dragged himself and the Kuei squad into the water. In the 3 days of war, 1 died and 1 was injured. He suffered heavy losses. Who would have thought that this was a blessing in disguise? Just as he was discouraged and hated Lin Feng to the bone, Ying Jian and the second Glory team appeared. Do it well. Zhu Kuei patted He with his big hand, which made him grimace. If you perform well this time, the captain and I will recommend you. Zhu Kuei laughed. Recommendation quota. It was second only to the special recruitment quota. The so-called recommendation quota meant that the Glory Squad could promote any ace captain who had accumulated 7,500 combat points. He's heartbeat quickened. His blood was boiling. He knew that it was impossible for him to reach 8,000 combat power points, but 7,500 combat power points. But it was worth a shot. He was now close to 7,000 points, and he was a Saint Power cultivator, so he did not need to spend time on the esoteric meaning. Qin Tiansheng, who was ranked first, and Wu Qi, who was ranked second, were both above 7,500. He also had the chance to achieve it. You didn't expect this, did you, Lin Feng? He gritted his teeth and smiled bitterly. Wait until I'm promoted to the Glory Squad. See how I'll kill you. Behind the military base, Wei Yuan and He Jin were in charge of the overall situation. Yuan Shuang had the least experience, so she was left in the Glory 7. The demons this time are very unusual, Wei Yuan said with a frown. That's why I informed the general early in the morning, He Jin said. What did the general say? Wei Yuan asked. He didn't say much. He just sent the second Glory Squad to assist. He Jin said, although we have an extra sharp knife, I'm afraid we're still not strong enough to face this sea of demon elites. Wei Yuan shook his head. We're not afraid of demon sea tactics. I'm afraid that this time, even the top primeval demons from the 4 ancient demon clans will come. Just the 2 of us, Ying Jian and the other 2. I'm afraid we won't be able to stop the true super elites of the demons. The top primeval demons referred to the level of primeval demons who already had the combat power of ancestral demons. Because ancestral demons were not allowed to participate in the battlefield, the top primeval demons were very useful. They were simply unstoppable. Unfortunately, there's a gap in our Glory Squad promotion to Glory Squad Commander. He Jin shook his head. There's no other way. Wei Yuan said, out of 10 Ace Squad Commanders promoted to Ace Squad Commander, not to mention the Glory Squad, those human super geniuses have already transformed into butterflies after being tempered in the Glory Alliance. They've already passed the most difficult path in the early stage of cultivation. What's the point of staying? Glory Alliance. It was originally a loose alliance that existed only to fight against the demons and demons. 9 out of 10 Glory Squad commanders were of their own origin. For example, if Lin Feng and Shimanzi broke through to the Nirvana stage in the future, they could freely choose. They could choose to return to the Blood Tower. At that time, their status would be extremely high. Not only would they be free, but they also wouldn't need to shoulder the responsibility of protecting the safety of the human race. They could do whatever they wanted. There were very few people like Yi Xia who didn't belong to any sect or clan. Even if they did, they might not necessarily stay in the Glory Alliance. Nirvana stage experts, especially those who could break through to the Grand Nirvana stage, would go to the 6 forbidden grounds. Most of the time, they would head to the 6 most dangerous lands to train themselves. The Nirvana stage experts would gather at the Miracle Garden, the main base of the human race. Unlike the 7th domain, they did not have to worry about the invasion of the demon race and the demon race. Everyone has their own ambitions. We can't force them. He said. Wei Xingyuan snorted coldly. Sometimes, if they really want to give up, why should the Glory Alliance block them? Anyway, when we attack the 7th domain, the human army will come out to fight. Let those big clans and forces send their own experts to block them. Jin shook his head. If that's the case, even if we win, the 7th domain will be in a terrible situation. There will be thousands of casualties. Wei Xingyuan said indifferently. Who cares about them? As the saying goes, every man for himself. Jin sighed. Although he didn't agree with Wei Xingyuan's thoughts, he knew that his thoughts couldn't affect Wei Xingyuan. Looking at the intense battle in the distance, Jin's eyes lit up. I hope the top primeval demons don't participate in the battle. That way, we still have a chance of winning. The battle became even more intense. Just as Lin Feng said, the first batch of demons to invade was only ordinary bloodline demons. They were used as cannon fodder to deplete the human race's strength. As the casualties increased, the second and third batch of demons charged forward. Among them, there were 108 primeval demons. The fourth batch, the fifth batch, more and more of the 108 primeval demons appeared. There were heavenly demons, great heavenly demons, and primeval demons. The more the demons attacked, the fiercer they became. Death and blood continued to flow, but this made the demons even crazier. They charged forward fearlessly. Get ready. Lin Feng's expression was solemn. When the great heavenly demons of the 10 primeval demons appear, the real battle will begin. The battle was about to start. Chapter 838. The 10 original ancestor demons were like the trump card of the Glory Alliance, and their great sky demons were like the members of the trump card team. And the 108 original demons were like the elite army of the Glory Alliance. So, once the great sky demons of the 10 original ancestor demons appeared, it meant that the demons had really launched an all-out attack. Yes, Yi Xiao was a little excited and nervous. She manzy smiled and nodded, very calm. She had already experienced many things in the Blood Tower. Wave after wave of attacks, round after round of attacks. The intensity of the war made people's blood boil, as if their blood was burning. At this time, the sound of drums and flutes resounded through the sky on the battlefield, and the entire military area erupted with thunderous shouts. Kill! Kill! Kill these damned demons! The St. Crystal Grand Formation was activated one after another, and a dense crowd of human experts rushed out like a tide, holding various heavenly saint weapons. Soldiers, captains, elite soldiers, elite captains, and demon experts clashed head-on. The blood-boiling war began, and it was chaos. Let's go. Lin Feng took the lead. Yi Xia and Shi Manzi followed closely behind, like an inconspicuous dagger plunging into the battlefield. Charge! Lin Feng held the ultimate heavenly saint weapon, Black Lotus, as if he had entered an unstoppable realm. One by one, the great sky demons roared and attacked, but they were all killed before they could even get close. Boom, 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 boom. Lin Feng did not use the Taiyu Holy Qi, and he could easily open a path with just his physical strength. On the battlefield, Holy Qi was very important. Once it was exhausted, it was like being slaughtered. This was different from a one-on-one battle. When the war broke out, inexperienced soldiers could easily exhaust their Holy Qi and then die under the claws of ordinary heavenly demons. It was very frustrating. Lin Feng, he knew this very well. The foundation of the experts was there. Lin Feng's saber realm was very strong. Even if he did not use the Taiyu Holy Qi, his saber was still invincible, and no one was his match. Soon, the Chaos team, was like a sharp knife that stabbed deeply into the demon's formation and naturally attracted the attention of the demon experts. The number of demons besieging suddenly increased. Swish, Shimanzi lightly pursed her cherry lips, her beautiful eyes filled with worry. Right now, Yixia was completely focused on harvesting. With his saint energy, countless heavenly demon cores went straight into his pocket, including some human storage rings and even heavenly saint weapons. To a saint energy cultivator, this was undoubtedly a great opportunity to make a fortune. Even if other martial artists wanted to fish in troubled waters, they simply did not have the time and energy. In this chaotic battlefield, the slightest carelessness could cost one's life. Clang! Thunder rumbled as Lin Feng took out the Thunder Kuei pot. The Thunder Kuei pot had already been upgraded to the 3rd stage. Its entire body was pitch black. It was a high-grade heaven-ranked sacred treasure. The divine beast Lei Kuei let out an excited howl at the mouth of the pot. Its body was huge and valiant. As it roared, Lin Feng's eyes lit up. Big Dipper, Devil, Thunder Array. Lin Feng directly used the profound meaning of thunder. He was not using his own Taiyu holy qi, but the holy qi of thunder in the Thunder Kuei pot. Attacking a group of people would consume a lot of holy qi, so Lin Feng was prepared. The Heavenly Dipper Devil Thunder Array was only a mid-level profound meaning. However, after being amplified by the whirlpool, its power was comparable to a high-grade profound meaning. On the battlefield, it did not require one's combat strength to be strong. Endurance was also very important. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The Thunder Dragon turned into an endless thunder vortex and shot straight into the sky from the center of the earth. The flash of thunder caused the Heavenly Dipper to change violently. Countless thunder dragons gathered and condensed into a Heavenly Dipper. Huge whirlpools spun rapidly. It was shockingly violent. Pa! 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 Lin Feng multitasked and directly used 3 Big Dipper Devil Thunder Arrays at the same time. On the left, front, and right, thunder rumbled. The Thunder Dragon roared crazily and blasted out the most powerful attack on the battlefield. For the current Lin Feng, using 3 Big Dipper Devil Thunder Arrays at the same time was not a problem at all. Boom! Like a nuclear bomb exploding, a terrifying power spread throughout the battlefield. Yixia, who was busy harvesting the spoils of the battle, was dumbfounded, but she immediately searched for the heavenly demon core. Shimanzi covered her mouth lightly, her beautiful eyes shining. A heavenly demon in front of her escaped. Shimanzi's red ribbon danced as she directly took the enemy's life. Chi! Lin Feng attacked with his saber. This time, he condensed the peaceful nether holy qi and drew a huge half-moon arc, killing the great heavenly demons that escaped the Big Dipper Devil Thunder Array one by one. The surroundings were instantly empty. The Thunder Dragon pot flashed with a strange light as Lin Feng stood proudly in the middle of the battlefield. Countless gazes gathered on him. The humans were filled with respect and shock, while the demons were filled with fear and deep hatred. Chi! In the distance, more great heavenly demons gathered. There were even primordial heavenly demons that noticed Lin Feng and charged over. Lin Feng held Black Skeleton, and a black dragon roared into the sky. New Broken Sea. Lin Feng swung his saber. He did not reveal his true strength. In fact, there were many who had penetrated deeper into the demon army than Lin Feng. Not to mention the second glory team, the Azure Dragon team, led by Qin Tiansheng, pierced in like a sharp awl. The White Pool team was even more elite. Although they were few in number, their battle strength was not inferior. The ones at the forefront were these 3 teams. And in the middle was the elite army led by Hong Bao, Ji Zisen, Deming Lord, and other elite commanders. They were the main force of the war and fought the most fiercely. Lin Feng and the other 2's Chaos team was very small. It was inconspicuous among the huge demon army. But slowly, it surpassed the elite main force and drew closer to the 3 teams at the forefront. In one spurt of energy, Lin Feng did not stop. Instead, he continued to slaughter. with the group attack technique and Yixia, a sacred power cultivator. Although the Chaos team had fewer people and was not at the forefront, they gained more than the Azure Dragon team and the White Pool team combined. Gradually, the primordial heavenly demons began to attack Lin Feng. Similarly, Lin Feng also began to reveal his true strength and technique. The primordial heavenly demons were comparable to elite commanders. Boom! In front of the current Lin Feng, they could not withstand a single blow. Combined with the Overlord's combat power, his realm was unusually strong. He had just broken through the Sea Realm. The light energy was more effective against the demons than any other energy, especially since Lin Feng already had the light core and was recognized by the light origin. Even if he did not use the light origin, his control and use of the light energy was extremely strong. The seventh one, Yixiao laughed loudly. Shimanzi's beautiful eyes shone. The battle had not started for long, but Lin Feng had already killed 7 primordial heavenly demons. His battle record was quite brilliant, but she felt that something was wrong with Lin Feng. It was an indescribable feeling. Is it my misperception? Shimanzi pursed her lips. Lin Feng was in a killing frenzy. The killing intent in his eyes was getting stronger and stronger. The killing aura in his body was spreading. Bam! 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 His heartbeat quickened. A comfortable feeling spread throughout his body. At this moment, Lin Feng did not feel any discomfort. Instead, he was extremely used to this feeling. It was as if he was born to kill. He did not lose his mind. Lin Feng was very clear-headed. He also knew where this feeling came from. His own body. Chapter 839. Tyrannosaurus Rex Clone. Along with the slaughter, the Tyrannosaurus Rex clone seemed to have returned to the ancient times, to the Jurassic period. A mysterious power was awakening in his body. It was a bloodline, but also not a bloodline. Bloodline referred to talent. Power was a part of bloodline, but also an independent existence. For example, the demons had Qiyu bloodline, Zitong bloodline, Wanyu bloodline, and so on. But bloodline only increased the upper limit of the demons and made it easier to control power. It was a kind of hidden existence. Power was the substance that could be used to unleash this hidden existence. Power. Lin Feng was very clear. Just like the dark matter power of the demons, just like his own overlord battle power, the Tyrannosaurus Rex clone was also a powerful existence. Like the demons, it was closely related to the bloodline and perfectly dependent on it. I understand. Lin Feng finally understood. The demons were actually very embarrassed. In terms of physical condition, they were inferior to the demons. In terms of profound meaning, they were inferior to the humans. This was the reason why the demons had the path of following heaven and the path of defying heaven. The smart demons chose the path of defying heaven because they thought that the humans' path of cultivation was correct and perfect. Moreover, the demons were often closer to nature than humans, closer to the origin energy. What they lacked was the humans' extraordinary intelligence. The heavens are fair. The demons' talent is actually not inferior to the demons. Lin Feng said softly. Indeed, in terms of physical condition, the demons were inferior to the demons. However, the demons had their own bloodline power, which was not inferior to the dark matter power of the demons. In addition to the demons' unique ability to be close to nature energy, the demons who walked the path of following heaven were not weak at all. What is weak is their intelligence. Lin Feng killed another primordial sky demon. A surging aura spread out in his chest. Waves of powerful energy appeared in the Tyrannosaurus Rex clone. Compared to the various races at Nemo's level, humans were naturally ranked first, and the demons who cultivated the heavenly demon heart were not much inferior. The second level consisted of the demons who cultivated the heavenly demon core and the monsters who walked the path of transformation. The third level consisted of the monsters who walked the path of heaven and the essence with spirits. Without high intelligence, it was naturally difficult to comprehend the realm of power. Boom! Lin Feng slashed again. He killed dozens of great sky demons. He was in a good mood because his Tyrannosaurus Rex clone had found a path, the correct path of cultivation. Itself. Even in its normal state, the tyrant dragon clone was already quite terrifying, far more powerful than demons and monsters of the same level. If he could cultivate his bloodline power and awaken his bloodline, truly invincible, Lin Feng was satisfied. The aptitude of the tyrant dragon clone was even greater than that of the main body. Since it is the power obtained from killing, then let's call it the power of slaughter. Lin Feng's eyes widened. He raised the black spear high into the air, and a boundless storm swept up as he roared. The more he fought, the braver he became. Without a doubt, the second Glory Squad was the one that had fought the hardest against the demons. It was led by Ying Jian and Giant Kuei. Chuan Xi Marquis, one on the left and one on the right, was unstoppable. Although they were only saints, each member of the second Glory Squad was at least as strong as 108 primordial heavenly demons. The strongest shadow sword was bottomless, possessing the power of the primordial heavenly devil that surpassed the 10 great original ancestor devil clans. He was the sharpest blade of the Glory 7 Alliance. After the second Glory team, it was the Azure Dragon team, and then the Baze team. The gap in combat power gradually widened. As the strongest trump card troop, the Azure Dragon team indeed had powerful combat power, especially their captain, Qin Tiansheng. Hong Bao, who was comparable to the strongest elite troop commander. And at this time, the Chaos Squad was slowly approaching the Baize Squad. "We're rich." Yi Xiao was grinning from ear to ear. Large amounts of sky demon nuclei entered his account. Every one of them was a golden battle achievement. Normally, there would not be such an opportunity to obtain so many sky demon nuclei. Only in the most dangerous battlefield, the cruelest battle between two armies, could one obtain them. Risk and opportunity coexisted. "Little Xia, do we have 3,000 nuclei?" Shi Manzi asked curiously. "More than 5,000 nuclei? Sister Manzi." Yi Xiao's face was red, extremely excited. "So many." Shi Manzi did not dare to believe it. Yi Xiao's eyes lit up. Brother Lin's group attacks were especially satisfying. "Every time we obtained a few hundred nuclei, even if each one is worth one battle achievement, we have 5,000 points now. Unless every one of them is a low-level sky demon with normal bloodline." Shi Manzi smiled. It was very moving. High-level sky demons with normal bloodline. Each one is worth 4 battle achievement. If they're from the 108 original ancestor devil clans, each one is worth 40 battle achievement. The 9 original ancestor devil clans that Lin Feng killed were all from the 108 original ancestor devil clans. Each one is worth at least 1,000 battle achievement. 9 of them have accumulated 17,000 battle achievement. Wah! Yi Xiao's body trembled, somewhat frightened. The two of them were like fish in water under Lin Feng's protection, and there was not the slightest bit of danger to speak of. Basically, the most that Lin Feng had left behind for Shi Manzi were 2 or 3 kittens, which did not pose any threat at all. As for Yi Xia, he had not made a move until now. He also did not want to make a move. To him, wasting a second meant losing a large amount of battle achievement. How many battle achievements would he earn? Lin Feng did not even think about it. As the main attacker, he naturally could not be distracted by this. Moreover, all his attention was on the killing power of the Tyrant Dragon clone. Carefully sensing and observing, this battlefield with prey everywhere was undoubtedly the best place to train. The dark matter power of the demon race is increased through training. Absorbing the largest amount of dark matter in the universe to strengthen the body and increase the dark matter power is different from my training of the Tyrant Dragon. Lin Feng quickly killed the Chaos Demons. His efficiency was extremely high, killing 10 demons in one step. The killing power and the dark matter power are different from the Tyrant Dragon's fighting power. It is connected to the clone's bloodline, but it also exists independently, increasing through killing. Every time I kill, it will increase the killing power. The stronger the opponent, the more killing power the clone will obtain after killing them. Lin Feng's eyes shone, and his attacks were even more decisive. At this moment, a demon expert suddenly appeared in front of him. His blazing aura roared, causing the other demon experts to retreat in fear. His figure was taller than the primordial sky demon he had killed previously. His upper body had blood color patterns like the sun, and his entire body was emitting blazing energy. Blood Sun Demon Race. Lin Feng's expression was solemn. As one of the 10 great primordial sky demon races, they possessed an extremely powerful bloodline. Their race's talent was comparable to that of an ace soldier. This Blood Sun demon race in front of him was even a primordial sky demon. Simply put, equivalent to an ace commander. Lin Feng's hand, that was holding Black's skeleton, tightened slightly, and the light core on his forehead glowed slightly. This was definitely a troublesome enemy. With the arrival of the Blood Sun primordial sky demon, the surrounding demons all retreated, forming a one-on-one confrontation. One man and one demon looked at each other, and their auras surged and collided. Chapter 840. Behind the military zone, He Jin and Wei Xing looked very serious, their brows furrowed. As ace commanders, they didn't need to charge and lead the troops because they had to coordinate the overall situation and make the most accurate judgment of the battlefield. And the military zone also needed strong masters, otherwise it would be easily conquered by the demon masters. The 10 original ancestor demons have appeared, He Jin said in a low voice. 3 have appeared, and one of the Bei's squad has been killed, Wei Xingyuan said. It seems that the demons won't stop until they achieve their goal. He Jin clenched his fists and gritted his teeth. Even the original ancestor demons have come out. It's very likely. It's too early to judge, Wei Xingyuan said. But the situation is not optimistic. I can't wait. It's too torturous here. Old Wei, you guard. I'll go to the front to help. He Jin straightened his back and looked at the flashing light in the distance. Before Wei Xingyuan could answer, He Jin had disappeared. To let him watch the honorable soldiers be slaughtered by the original ancestor demons, he couldn't do it. Young people are so impulsive. Wei Xingyuan shook his head. Sparks flew. Lin Feng didn't give in to the Sunblood demon. Now that he was in the 7th level of the Sage stage, the perfect Tyrant Blade world of the 2nd level of the Power Realm, Lin Feng was not inferior to the power of the Sunlight Core. If he fought with Giant Kuei again, it was hard to say who would win under normal circumstances, but if the origin of light erupted, he could definitely defeat Giant Kuei in 3 moves. The Sunblood demon was in the middle level of the original ancestor demons, and his strength was on par with Giant Kuei. Lin Feng knew as soon as they exchanged blows. The Sunblood demon's bloodline has the Blood Sun aura, and it has a strong Fire Devour effect. Lin Feng didn't fight head-on, but retreated as he fought. This was not a one-on-one battle. The most important thing on the battlefield was to use power wisely. I have a 60% chance of defeating him with the Taiyu Holy Qi, but it's too exhausting. Bang! Lin Feng was forced to retreat again. The Blood Sun demon clan roared. The scorching Fire Devour, mixed with the power of dark matter, was unstoppable. It once again smashed towards Lin Feng. The surrounding demon clansmen were very excited. They seemed to respect the Blood Sun demon clan a lot. In the demon race, where the strong were respected, everything depended on bloodline and strength. Pa! Lin Feng steadied himself. There was some blood at the corner of his mouth. The power of the Sun Blood demon race could not be completely dissipated. Looking at the blood-red figure swooping down from the distance, Lin Feng's forehead suddenly burst with light. The black dragon in his hand trembled in pain. A huge black dragon phantom flashed, and the light source turned into the strongest blade. New Broken Sea. Facing the Blood Sun demon race's attack, Lin Feng dealt with it cleanly. The Sunblood demon race let out a miserable shriek. The light energy was extremely effective against the demon race, especially when it came to the origin of light. Chi, his entire body felt like it was being burned. The blade energy tore through the Sunblood demon's strong body. Lin Feng roared. The blade energy kept increasing, and the Tyrant Blade world formed a strong binding force. Lin Feng directly killed the Sunblood demon race while surrounded by the otherworldly demons. The Sunblood demon race was cut in two from the top of his head. The light's source enveloped him and burned him. Pan, the primeval heavenly demon core, was in his hand. Whoosh! Lin Feng did not even look at it. He threw it behind him. Yi Xia, who was in a daze, was flustered as he hurriedly caught it. Yi Xia gulped as he looked at the primeval heavenly demon core. That was the primeval heavenly demon core. The starting price was 10,000 battle credits. Middle tier, that was 30,000 battle credits. I'm rich, Yi Xiao muttered. At this moment, boom! New hailstones. Lin Feng did not stop. The moment he killed the primeval heavenly demon, the origin of light turned into an absolute attack. Endless hailstones fell from the sky. In an instant, the area covered in darkness and blood turned into a world of hailstones. The new hailstones were the perfect fusion of hailstones and the high-level, profound meaning of light, the devil annihilation light. Although its power was not as strong as the new sea breaker, the new hailstones were not only an area of effect blade technique. The devil annihilation light was even more effective against demons. The new hailstones fell with a thud. The heavenly demons and great heavenly demons who were still in a daze screamed. Their huge bodies turned to ice. Crack! They completely shattered. Whoosh! The light core mark on Lin Feng's forehead flashed, and the light in his eyes returned. Withdraw. The light core should be freely withdrawn. However, Lin Feng did not know the method. Even Light Man, who had condensed the light core for a long time, did not know. Even if he knew now, it would not be of much use. Under the Grand Nirvana, the normal light core would only have a tiny bit. At most, it would be exhausted in 2 or 3 attacks. However, Lin Feng was different. If he allowed the light core's energy to dissipate, it would be a huge loss. Having 10 times the light core was equivalent to having 10 times the light core. I'm still not very familiar with it. Lin Feng did not seal the light core at this time, because he did not know how to lock it. The light core was like a water pipe, and the light core was the water in the pipe. Once the pipe was opened, the water would gush out. And now, Lin Feng had sealed his own black hole vortex. The mutated light core was sucked into the mysterious black hole vortex in his body. He could not seal the light core, but he could seal the third meridian diagram. It was like sealing a large vat. No matter how much water the pipe sprayed out, it would still remain in the vat. However, he was still not familiar with it, so he wasted a lot of the light core. It was perfect for the devil annihilation light. Nearly 1,000 heavenly demon cores. Yi Xia was so excited that his body was trembling, but his actions were not slow at all. Countless heavenly demon cores were collected. Brother Lin is too awesome. That move just now was so powerful. He killed nearly 1,000 heavenly demons in one move, including the primordial heavenly demon. This is the light core's energy. Shimanzi's beautiful eyes flashed. The light core's power was too strong. In addition to the devil annihilation light's strong killing power, although it was a group attack, it still killed 2 primordial heavenly demons. It was equivalent to the battle power of an elite commander. Needless to say, the heavenly demons were fatal. After killing nearly 1,000 heavenly demons, Lin Feng himself also benefited a lot. The power of slaughter increased sharply. The increase of the power of slaughter can not only strengthen the doppelganger's battle power, but also stimulate the awakening of the bloodline. Lin Feng knew very well that the stronger the bloodline, the harder it was to awaken. It was different from the cultivation method of humans. Humans went from fetus weak to child weak and then to nirvana stage. Even if the bloodline had not awakened before, it would definitely awaken after breaking through to nirvana stage. But the demon race would not. Bloodline was a hurdle for the demon race that walked the path of heaven. Continue. Lin Feng's fighting spirit surged. Behind the demon army. The 7 limits. Human, using the 7 limits of our Chi-Yu clan. What a joke. Ha ha, wanton laughter. It was a tall demon race expert. His face was like a bull's head, and there were 2 bull horns on his forehead. His body was covered in scales, and there was a pair of giant wings on his back. He held a towering and tyrannical tiger soul battle blade in his hand. He was mighty and extraordinary. of the 4 ancient demon clans, the Chiyu clan's primordial heavenly demon. Chiyuanba. Chapter 841. Even if the 7 limits were stolen, it is very normal. A low voice rang out. It was a ghost-like figure, like a spirit, but it gave people a terrifying feeling. It was a malicious Azura hidden in the depths of the darkness. Its eyes flashed with power that made people's hearts tremble. 4 ancient demon clans, the Netherworld clan. Yuji. Whether it was Chi Yuanba or Yuji, they could be called the top experts of the younger generation in their respective clans. In the Miracle Garden, there were clear records of them. Top-level primeval demon. That was the level of primeval demon, a powerful existence comparable to the progenitor demon. They were the symbol of invincibility on the battlefield. The human experts of the Miracle Garden and your Chiyu clan have fought for countless years. It is normal for them to learn your 7 limits. Yuji said, "It is difficult to paint the skin, but difficult to paint the bones." The 7 limits can only be used by demon experts who are proficient in strength techniques and have the power of dark matter. It is impossible for those humans to use even a tenth of the power of the 7 limits. Chiyuanba snorted. If those humans steal it and use the nondescript 7 limits, it will be the shame of my Chiyu clan. Simple, just kill them. Yuji said calmly. Chiyuanba snorted and his fists cracked. I heard that there is a human called Ing Jian in the Glory Alliance of 7 who is very strong. He is only in the Saint stage, and he is already the strongest person in the Glory Alliance of 7 under the Great Nirvana stage. He is very similar to you? You sure? Yuji gave a sinister smile. I naturally want to meet him. Good. Chiyuanba moved his head, his eyes flashing. I also want to meet the human who used the 7 limits. I want to see which blind bastard it is. Boom. The light source exploded. Lin Feng raised his blade and quickly killed another one of the 10 progenitor demon clans, the Blue Yu demon clan's primeval demon. These 10 progenitor demon clans that could be called kings on other battlefields met their true nemesis on the first battlefield. Phew. Lin Feng was actually not relaxed. Killing the 108 demons that were comparable to elite commanders did not require the use of the light source. However, it was difficult to win against the 10 great progenitor devils without using the light origin, and he had yet to encounter an upper-level progenitor devil. In a battle of similar strength, the appearance of the light source was overwhelming. However, the origin of light was not endless. If it wasn't for the fact that his light heart had mutated, he wouldn't have been able to fight in such a state for such a long time. Up until now, he had only used up half of his light source. Just the killing of 3 of the 10 great origin ancestor devils was worth a lot of money. 2 of them were mid-tier primeval heavenly demons, while the other was a low-tier primeval heavenly demon. In total, they could be exchanged for 50,000 battle merits. As for the great heavenly demon cores, they could be exchanged for even more. Kill. Kill them all. Yixia shouted wantonly. His mood was extremely good. The nervousness and apprehension of entering the battlefield for the first time had long since disappeared. What replaced it was intense joy because the Primal Chaos team would be able to obtain a large amount of battle merits. Yixia meticulously carried out Lin Feng's mission and continuously collected heavenly demon cores. But at this time, Lin Feng's speed became slower and slower, as if he was afraid of something. Manzi, Lin Feng said. Manzi said. Turn around. You lead the way. Return to the military area. Lin Feng's expression was serious. Yi Xiao was shocked. Aren't we earning, Brother Lin? Lin Feng shook his head. The 10 great origin ancestor devils have begun to appear, and their numbers are increasing. The 10 great origin ancestor devils all enjoy a high status in the devil race. I killed 3 of them in a row and will definitely become a thorn in the side of the devil race. I believe that it won't be long before the 10 great origin ancestor devils appear. High origin ancestor devils. Their strength was on par with He Jin and Wei Xinyuan, the 2 ace commanders. Lin Feng was not confident, especially since this was a battlefield, not a place for one-on-one duels. If more than one of the 10 great origin ancestor devils came, it would be troublesome. If he was alone, it wouldn't matter, but now he had Yi Xia and Shimanzi behind him. He had to be responsible for them. Shimanzi's small mouth slightly raised. I've earned enough. No one to stop. With that, she turned and retreated. Listen to Brother Lin. Although Yi Xia felt that it was a pity, he followed Lin Feng's orders and followed Shimanzi. Lin Feng looked into the distance, an inexplicable fear rising in his heart. He left immediately. Puchi. Ying Jian's figure appeared like a ghost. The pitch-black, perfect heavenly saint weapon black stem piercing through the body of an origin ancestor devil. With a roar, Ying Jian's Inchi Saint Chi exploded. The ultimate grade source displayed its terrifying power. One of the two ultimate grade glory alliance experts. Ying Jian's Inchi Saint Chi. He had combined the dark Saint Chi, the wind Saint Chi, and the Yin Saint Chi into one. The members of the second glory team relaxed, while Qian, he was ecstatic. He had followed the right person this time. This purple-marked devil race, mid-level, origin, ancestor devil could not withstand a single blow from Ying Jian. That was comparable to a mid-level Nirvana realm ace commander. Giant Kuei, Chuan, Xi Marquis, and the others did not even need to act. Ying Jian had already killed 4 mid-level origin ancestor devils and 5 low-level origin ancestor devils. Extremely powerful. Dumbfounded, Chuan Xi Marquis looked at Qian He with disdain. To tell you the truth, this is not Captain's true strength. It can't be. Qian He was shocked. For a long time, the Glory Team's first light team was the most famous. Ying Jian was suppressed by him and did not reveal his true strength. Qian He did not expect Ying Jian's strength to be so strong. He was shocked and hurriedly said, "Be careful." Behind Ying Jian, another origin ancestor devil race demon with purple veins appeared. It was the same as the purple marked devil race demon that Ying Jian had just killed. Its speed was much faster, its body was bigger, and its strength was also stronger. Boom! The furious attack tore Ying Jian to pieces, but it only managed to shatter Ying Jian's afterimage. Although it was not over, Ying Jian's speed was still extremely fast. He leaped and quickly moved around the purple-marked devil race demon, the perfect heavenly saint weapon in his hand glowing ominously. Dang! He had the absolute upper hand. Although he had used up a lot of energy, Ying Jian was still able to suppress the purple-marked primordial devil race demon. Relying on the ultimate Yin-Chi source point and his extremely high attainments in the Sword Dao, Ying Jian continued to attack. Although the purple-marked primordial devil race demon tried its best to resist, it was gradually unable to endure. Amazing! Qian He's eyes shone. Ying Jian was able to defeat the purple-marked primordial devil race demon. This meant that he could defeat ace commanders like He Jin and Wei Xian Yuan. This kind of strength was too shocking. If I can join the second glory team, my future will be limitless. Qian He's eyes darted around, and with Captain Ying Jian's strength, dealing with Lin Feng will be as easy as flipping his hand. All he needs to do is to scheme a little and sow discord. Qian He thought happily, the corner of his mouth rising slightly. Everyone in the second glory team watched the battle between Ying Jian and the purple-marked primordial devil race demon as if they were watching a play. But in an instant, Ying Jian's expression changed. To be continued. Chapter 842. A huge aura descended. The purple-marked primordial heavenly devil laughed and punched out. Although he was heavily injured by Ying Jian again, he did not care at all. The figure that was knocked back in the air was defenseless. Ying Jian hovered in the air and did not chase after him. With a pale face, Ying Jian stared at the devil race army. The devil race experts moved to the left and right to make a path. Boundless netherworld energy covered the sky above the battlefield. A ghostly figure of Shura appeared in the air without any warning. He looked down at Ying Jian like a king. His expressionless eyes were filled with disdain. Netherworld devil race, Netherworld epiphany. One of the 4 ancient devil races. They were born with the ability to control the netherworld energy. Netherworld race. Ying Jian pursed his thin lips. The dark heart mark on his forehead opened slightly. The dragon mark on his neck flashed with a demonic light. The perfect heavenly saint weapon in his hand, Blackbow, hummed. After Ing Jian, the second glory team had an ugly expression. Especially Qian, he who was trembling. He recognized this primordial heavenly devil of the netherworld devil race. Who did not know of the 4 ancient devil races? The primordial heavenly devil was at least as strong as an ace commander. Some were even comparable to the glory commanders. Peak primordial heavenly devil, king of the battlefield, Qian He's joy turned to sorrow. On the other side, where is he? Qi Yuanba shouted with tiger soul in his hand. The primordial heavenly devils beside him looked at each other, but there was no trace of Lin Feng. The devil race's army was crazily pressing forward. At this moment, it was like a hot knife through butter. It was completely different from the battle situation reported previously. Being swept by Qi Yuanba's furious eyes, the devil race experts kept quiet out of fear. Demon Commander, the human, one of the great heavenly devils, said with a trembling voice, ran away. Ran away? Qi Yuanba opened his eyes wide. The great heavenly devil gritted his teeth. Lord Xueli and Lord Xueli both died under his blade. Qi Yuanba rolled his heavy eyelids and said with disdain, 2 useless fellows. They couldn't even defeat a Saint Realm human. They are a disgrace to the Blood Sun devil race. It's not like that, Demon Commander. The great heavenly devil said, although that human is a Saint Realm, he has already been recognized by the origin of light. Has a restraining effect on the 2 lords. Moreover, he used your 7 limits, Devil Marshal. Boom! Qi Yuanba's calm expression instantly turned furious. He grabbed the great celestial demon like he was grabbing a chick. What did you say? It's absolutely true, Lord Devil Marshal. The great heavenly demon was aghast and alarmed as she said, it's the 7 great limits, but it's different from the one you used. He used the 7 great limits, enhanced by the fusion of profound intents. Qi Yuanba's eyes were bloodshot. Not only did you steal it, you even dare to tamper with my Qi Yu clan's blade technique. Despicable and shameless humans. Qi Yuanba's majestic body exploded with a terrifying power. His right hand suddenly exerted force, and the great sky fiend in his hand immediately let out a miserable howl. He had become the scapegoat. Qi Yuanba turned around. His eyes were burning with anger. The Tiger Soul battle blade let out a fierce, clanging sound. Qi Yuanba instantly dashed away. Shameless brat, how dare you insult the saber techniques of my Qi Yu clan? I'm going to tear you into pieces. At this moment, Lin Feng was already on his way back to the military region. He knew when to stop. He had already done what he had to do. He had stopped and killed countless demon experts. Among them, there were even 3 of the 10 great original ancestor demons whose strength was comparable to ace army commanders. In terms of battle merits, he was definitely outstanding and dazzling. He was comparable to the Glory team. But to make him risk his life for the Glory 7 Alliance, to risk his life for the humans of Nirvana world, he cannot do it. Hua like a dancing butterfly, Shi Manzi, who had been holding back her strength, finally had a place to use it. Her ethereal figure danced in the demon army like a fish in water. Her unique movement technique, coupled with Shi Manzi's unique attacks, could not compare to Lin Feng in terms of killing power, but it was very suitable for breaking through. However, retreating from the back to the front was not difficult on Shi Manzi's side. On Lin Feng's side, pung. Lin Feng's attacks were not sloppy at all. They were clean and neat. Countless hailstones fell, even without the enhancement of the light source. The power of the demon destroying light was still tyrannical. Yi Xiao was extremely busy. There were heavenly demon cores on his left and right. He was extremely focused, because every one that was missed was a loss of battle merits. With Shi Manzi leading the way and Lin Feng at the back, the Chaos team retreated easily. They came and went as they pleased. The demon army was unable to resist at all. It was the soldiers who were in the midst of a fierce battle. The elite soldiers looked over from the corner of their eyes. Their faces were filled with envy. They really wanted to have this kind of strength to gallop on the battlefield. We're almost at the military area. Shimanzi's voice sounded clearly. Returning with a full load, no one was injured. What could be better than this? The situation is not optimistic. Although Lin Feng did not intend to risk his life for the Glory 7 Alliance, he did not wish for the Glory 7 Alliance to be overwhelmed by the demon army. The closer they were to the military area, the more they felt the cruelty of the war. Countless corpses littered the battlefield. Humans and demons fought to the death. Blood flowed like rivers. With our strength, we can only do our best. Shimanzi said. Lin Feng nodded his head slightly. He understood that Shimanzi was advising him not to do anything rash. In fact, he did not intend to do it. They were getting closer and closer to the military area. Pum, pum. His heartbeat quickened. Lin Feng's body shook fiercely. That was the intuition of his doppelganger. His heart trembled. A terrifying power was quickly approaching at a speed much faster than his own. Without a doubt, this was definitely the strongest warrior in the demon army. Lin Feng clenched his fists tightly. Cold sweat seeped out his palms. Looking at Yi Xia and Shimanzi, who did not know what was going on, Lin Feng said, "The military area is in front. You guys go first. I will go take a look around." Huh? Shimanzi was slightly surprised. Her beautiful eyes flashed. "Okay, kill a few more primordial heavenly demons, Brother Lin." Yi Xia laughed. Lin Feng smiled. Almost instantly, his figure disappeared. They really came. Lin Feng's eyes shone brightly. Glancing at Shimanzi and Yi Xia behind him, the two of them were still some distance away from the military area. He had to stand out. He knew Yi Xia and Manzi well. If they met a strong enemy, they would definitely not escape by themselves. But this time, once we reach the military area, we will be safe. Lin Feng thought to himself. With Manzi's experience, he believed that she would definitely bring Yi Xia safely away. If he comes in my direction, I can only fight. Lin Feng was very clear that for Yi Xia and Manzi's safety, he had no other choice. Pah! Lin Feng tightened his grip on He Tung, and his aura gradually condensed. He felt his blood boil in the face of this demon expert who possessed such a terrifying aura. Is it one of the top 10 primordial ancestor demons, or primordial demon race? Lin Feng's eyes shone. He was never afraid of a battle, especially when he was the only one left. Let's fight. To be continued. Chapter 843. It's here. Before they even arrived, they could already feel a strong, oppressive aura. It was the tyrannical power of the demon clan. It was very familiar. It's very similar to Qi Fan. Lin Feng was shocked. At this moment, there was no doubt that it was a top-level primeval demon from the Qiyu race. However, it was even stronger than Qi Fan. Whoosh, Lin Feng's eyes were sharp. Compared to Qi Fan, his strength was still a level lower. Boom! The sky seemed to have cracked open. A sharp sound pierced through the air. A huge figure appeared in the sky. It had a pair of wings on its back, a face like that of a bull, and two horns like that of a bull on its forehead. It held a giant tiger soul saber in its hand and emitted a cold, killing intent. A pair of thunderous eyes stared at Meng Qi, the Qiyu race, the demon king that once caused endless slaughter on Earth. Back then, it was only the great celestial demon that fought with senior brother Xinyuan. It was a top-level primeval demon. You are the human who secretly learned the 7 limits of the Qiyu race? Qi Yuanba sized up the tiny human in front of him. His voice was loud like a bell. A fierce killing intent spread out. He was like a giant killing god. The tiger's soul saber in his hand revealed its ferocity. 7 limits? Lin Feng was slightly stunned. He immediately understood. No, my 7 limits were taught by Senior Qi Fan. Lin Feng was neither servile nor overbearing. He only emphasized the word taught. His 7 limits did come from Qi Fan. Qi Fan. Qi Yuanba was stunned. It was just an opening statement. He didn't expect this human to say such a thing. He frowned and said doubtfully, "Impossible. Qi Fan has been dead for a long time. Besides, why would he teach a human the 7 limits? You are full of lies." Lin Feng smiled faintly. Senior, do you know how Chi Fan died? Of course I know. Chi Fan. Chi Yuanba rolled his eyes. Cunning human. You want to get information from me? No way. As he spoke, the Tiger Soul's saber flashed with dark power. A terrifying aura surged out. Chi Yuanba's face was filled with anger. Chi Fan died at the gate of heaven's wrath, Lin Feng said. Thump! Chi Yuanba felt as if an iron hammer had struck his chest. The murderous aura on his face instantly disappeared and turned into a dense seriousness and doubt. Staring at Lin Feng, Chi Yuanba asked with a deep voice, "Do you know how he died?" Killed by heavenly demon Emperor Wu Lin. Lin Feng said honestly. Sky-swallowing wolf clan, wizard wheel? Chi Yuanba's eyes were bloodshot. Lin Feng nodded. Chi Yuan's soul was locked in the heavenly saint weapon Black Scorpion. Fortunately, I helped him and freed him. In order to thank me, I taught you the Chi Yu clan's 7 limits. Lin Feng said unhurriedly. The longer he delayed, the safer Yi Xia and Manzi would be. He was very clear about this. However, humph, Qian, that trash. Chi Yuanba snorted and said angrily, "This is a disgrace to the Chi Yu family." Not only did he lose to a mere sky-swallowing wolf, but his soul was also sealed. In the end, he had to rely on the help of a lowly human being. Coward, you should have died long ago. Pung. Chi Yuanba raised the Tiger Soul saber in his hand. Brat, since you saved Qi Yang's life, today, I'll leave your corpse intact. Boom. Aura. Instant explosion. Chi Yuanba attacked with the Tiger Soul's momentum. The power of dark matter condensed on the saber and contained the power of the saber. It was the perfect embodiment of a true power technique. The 7 limits were originally created by power techniques. They were the crystallization of the wisdom of the Chi Yu clan's ancestors. Using power to drive them, the power of landslide exploded by 200%. Momentum. This was the key to landslide. Lin Feng was very familiar with the 7 limits. His body glowed with golden light. Facing an unprecedentedly strong enemy, hiding one's strength was akin to courting death. The 8th level of the titanium gray body exploded. Lin Feng's body was stronger than an ace commander. However, compared to the powerful primeval demon, he was still lacking. The light's source condensed. Lin Feng's tyrant saber world reached the 2nd level of perfection. However, it barely lasted for a moment before it was shattered by Chi Yuanba's power. At least the 3rd level. As Lin Feng retreated, he immediately cast the new storm. Against the extreme pressure of the landslide, he used softness to overcome hardness. Thunder vortexes appeared one after another. Lin Feng fought and retreated at the same time. It was a foolish move to fight against the top-notch primordial heaven demon of the Chi Yu race head-on. You actually changed the 7 limits of my clan. When Chi Yuanba saw Lin Feng use the new storm, he was infuriated. The Tiger Soul instantly created a dark storm that covered the entire battlefield. Watch carefully, human. This is the true 3rd move of the 7 limits. Storm. The true violence of a storm. The storm swept away the clouds and mixed with the heavy pressure of dark matter. Nothing could escape the intense, rotating force of the storm. Lin Feng's eyes widened. Although the 7 limits that Qi Yang used in his memory was already very strong, it was clearly much weaker than the top-level primeval demon in front of him. The absolute difference in strength. Lin Feng felt as though his body was about to be torn apart. Black skeleton trembled violently, breaking the Tao with force. It was the same storm, but the opponent was much stronger. New hailstorm. Lin Feng quickly used it. Combined with the high-level light profound meaning, demon extinguishing light, the light origin energy bloomed brilliantly. Combined with the Taiyu holy chi, it created a tyrannical power. Hailstones fell one after another, freezing the entire space. The extreme cold instantly weakened the power of Chi Yuanba's storm. Despicable human. Chi Yuanba was furious. Seeing the 7 limits being changed inappropriately, he was furious. The Tiger Soul battle blade burned fiercely. The black flames seemed to burn in the depths of hell. Qi Yuanba's eyes were filled with anger. He instantly destroyed Lin Feng's new hailstorm. As the flames burned the ground, Qi Yuanba looked down from above. His power completely locked on a Lin Feng. He was a top-level primeval demon with a noble bloodline. "You are dead, human!" With a furious roar, Qi Yuanba's muscles exploded like lightning. The dark matter energy formed many patterns. The ancient demon clan's bloodline was fully displayed. No matter how invincible Lin Feng was in front of other demon clans, right now, it's about time. Lin Feng's expression was calm. Although his power level was suppressed, his overlord's power made him the only exception in this space. He had already used up enough time. He had also fought with the top-level primeval demon of the Qiyu clan. He had benefited a lot. The truth was that he was not his opponent. However, heavenly curved light dipper disc. Lin Feng's heart of light shone brightly. He directly used it. 12 tunes and 36 lights, driven by the light origin, attacked Qi Yuanba. The strong domain control immediately clashed with Qi Yuanba's dark matter energy. Lin Feng's body shone with a faint light, covered by the light origin. Xiao! A light shadow flashed past. Lin Feng was like a white crane shuttling back and forth. He turned into a faint light shadow. White crane, faint light. Lin Feng used his profound meaning and quickly escaped. Chapter 844. It was the most comprehensive of the 3 profound meanings. It could be used to attack, assist, and even escape. Before Lin Feng comprehended the white crane glimmer, he had never thought that the first time he would use it would be to escape. However, it was undeniable that the white crane glimmer was very good at escaping. 6 paths of light, 1 path of light. Among the heaven and earth energy, it was the fastest in terms of speed. You're courting death. Qi Yuanba was engulfed in flames. With a roar, he slashed the Tiger Soul Battle Saber at the heavenly curved light disc. This time, the power was far more terrifying than before. The black hellfire shattered the barrier of light and crushed everything with absolute power. Bang! 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 The Tiger Soul Battle Blade shattered the heavenly curved light disc. However, in that short moment, Lin Feng had already escaped from Qi Yuanba's restraints. He turned into a white crane glimmer and escaped. Damned human, don't even think about running. Qi Yuanba's body shone brightly. The scales on his body were like steel. His eyes were filled with ferocity, and the wings on his back emitted extreme light. As an ancient demon race, the Qiyu race's body was extremely strong. Rumble. The sky cracked as Qi Yuanba chased after him. Lin Feng did not head towards the military area. Instead, he headed towards the place with the most demon race troops. Sometimes, dangerous places were more useful. Furthermore, he could not lead Qi Yuanba to the military area. The light origin shone brightly. Lin Feng's previous decision was correct. The light origin that he had saved was extremely useful now. He had to leave something behind for everything. This was especially true on the battlefield, where the weather was unpredictable. Xiao, rumble. 2 figures, one in front and one behind, flew in the sky above the demon race army. Lin Feng wasn't able to widen the gap. Even though he was driven by the light origin, he had only comprehended the first of the 3 diagrams of the white crane's glimmer-perfect, profound meaning. He had only comprehended the basics. Boom! The terrifying blade, Qi, pierced through the air. Lin Feng made a 90-degree turn and dodged Qi Yuanba's attack. Qi Yuanba's furious voice came from behind him. Lin Feng's face became solemn. He knew that Qi Yuanba was also going all out, and it was now a matter of which side would not be able to hold on. It's very likely to be me, Lin Feng thought to himself. The origin of light would most likely be exhausted first. He wouldn't be able to hold on for long. Boom! Another terrifying saber energy attacked from behind. This time, Lin Feng wasn't able to completely dodge the attack. The blade energy, which contained a vast amount of dark matter energy, merely brushed past him and shattered the eternal lightning pearl armor. Lin Feng felt a chill run down his spine. I can't let him continue attacking like this. Lin Feng suddenly changed directions and entered the battlefield. He managed to dodge it this time. He might not be able to dodge it 3 times. Damn it! Qi Yuanba roared furiously with bloodshot eyes. At a glance on the battlefield, blood flowed like a river. The demons and humans fought each other crazily. No one was willing to take half a step back. It was like purgatory. So, Qianhe's face was pale with fright. While blocking the attacks of the sky demons and great sky demons, he fled at top speed. He was heavily injured. Fortunately, he had a defensive treasure to save his life. What kind of idiot captain is this? He thinks he's infallible. Why did he go so deep into the demon army? Fortunately, I was prepared. Otherwise, I would definitely be buried with him. Thinking of the situation just now, Qianhe's heart palpitated. Jian and the top primeval sky demon of the netherworld race were fighting fiercely. The 10 original ancestor demons were fighting fiercely with the members of the Second Glory Squad. He wasn't so stupid as to accompany the Second Glory Squad to their deaths. Just a moment before he fled, he saw with his own eyes that the weakest Go Xian Xiao was torn to pieces by the demons. Half of his body was torn apart by the demons. Blood and flesh dripped. The demons' methods and combat strength were just as terrifying. It's best if they all die. Qianhe's eyes flashed with a vicious light. He rubbed the storage ring on his hand. The number of battle merits inside was enormous. It was all the Second Glory Squad's gains from this battlefield mission. If the Second Glory Squad was completely wiped out, then these battle merits, it's all mine. Thinking of this, Qianhe couldn't help but raise the corner of his mouth, because he knew that this time, the Second Glory Squad would have a narrow escape. They had to face the legendary Sky Demon, the top primeval Sky Demon. No matter how strong Jian was, it would be difficult for him to escape death. Ha ha! Qianhe couldn't help but laugh. Light flashed in his hand. He killed several Sky Demons in front of him and opened up a path. Rays of light appeared behind him, protecting his back tightly. Qianhe was confident that he would be able to return to the military area safely. As a sacred power cultivator, since he dared to enter the battlefield, he naturally had confidence. At this moment, what's that? Qianhe's heart skipped a beat, and his eyelids twitched wildly. He saw a light figure like a white crane rushing towards him. The face was very blurry, like an afterimage, but in an instant, it stopped in front of him, and the true face was immediately discernible. Lin Feng. Qianhe's eyes widened. Lin Feng smiled. Where would they not meet? Everywhere, they would meet Qianhe. Qi Yuanba's furious voice came from behind. Lin Feng glanced at Qianhe and naturally did not have any sympathy for him. For this cultivator who had tried to harm him time and time again, there was no reason for him to miss this great opportunity. If you let a jackal go, he would not be grateful. He would only harm you. Farewell, Lin Feng said softly. Behind him, a terrifying blade energy pierced through the entire battlefield, like a nuclear bomb crashing down. Whoosh! Lin Feng's figure flashed and disappeared in an instant, leaving behind a stunned Qianhe. He didn't know what had happened, and he stared into the distance, dumbfounded. Raging flames mixed with a sky-like black power descended from the sky, and the aura of death instantly covered him. In front of him was boundless darkness. No! Qianhe was hysterical. His eyes were filled with fear and shock. Boom! The battlefield shook violently, and thousands of ripples spread. Oh! The moment Lin Feng was repelled by the energy, he took Qianhe's storage ring. When he entered it with his consciousness, he gasped in amazement. However, there was no time to think about it. Qi Yuanba's furious voice came from behind him again, and the Tiger Soul battle blade pierced through the sky. He was still chasing relentlessly. Whoosh! Lin Feng fled quickly. One chased, one fled. Qi Yuanba was so domineering that his teeth were almost broken, but Lin Feng was calmer. In an extremely dangerous situation with no way out, he continued to use the white crane glimmer. His comprehension was getting deeper and deeper. The second diagram of the secret manual appeared in his mind. 3 days of comprehension flowed into his mind like spring water, gathering in his heart. The white crane that was about to spread its wings and soar turned into tiny light spots. At this moment, Lin Feng's body was also fading. Swoosh! Swoosh! The light's source flickered. Lin Feng's lips curled up slightly. His body was extremely light, as if he had turned into a white crane that spread its wings and soared. Whoosh! It was no longer an absolute speed. His body resonated with the light and disappeared in an instant. White crane glimmer. The second diagram was recorded. To be continued. Chapter 845. He had accumulated a lot of knowledge. After 3 days of seclusion, Lin Feng had already touched the threshold of the white crane glimmer. He only lacked an opportunity. If not for Butler Gongsuan's report, he would have been able to comprehend the second diagram in 2 to 3 days. After all, this was not all of the profound meaning of the white crane glimmer. 30%. Lin Feng was very clear. There was a clear record in the secret manual. Even if he comprehended the last diagram, he would only be able to comprehend 60%. The remaining 40% was the true essence of the profound meaning. It pointed directly to the true meaning of light. Xiao, although it was only 30%, it was already very terrifying under the influence of the light origin. In the blink of an eye, Lin Feng pulled Qi Yuanba away from him. There was a limit to the range of his aura. It was like the distance of vision. When he left the range of vision, he would not be able to see it again. Where is he? Where did he go? Damned human, get the hell out here. In the air, Qi Yuanba was furious. He gritted his teeth and roared. The tiger soul battle blade in his hand emitted a terrifying power. The sky seemed to be collapsing. The demon clan experts looked at Qi Yuanba and kept quiet. No one dared to say anything. There were not many rules in the demon clan to provoke this evil star. The strong would kill the weak. They killed him directly. Qi Yuanba looked for Lin Feng crazily. He was fuming with anger. He was the dignified demon general. If a saint kid escaped in front of him, he would become the laughingstock of the Qi Yu clan. Roar! Qi Yuanba roared angrily and disappeared. Human, I'm going to kill you. Qi Yuanba's roar was mixed with anger. But at this moment, Lin Feng, who was thousands of miles away, could not hear it. After running for a while, Lin Feng had already made a detour and returned to the military area from another direction. The light core on his forehead gradually dimmed and disappeared. Lin Feng's lips curled up. He was in a good mood. There is still 5% of the light origin left. Lin Feng walked slowly. Although he didn't have the driving force of the light origin, his body speed was already very outstanding. His physique at the 8th level of the Sage Realm was comparable to that of the Demon Clan. 10 times the light core. With 10 times the amount of light source and the ability to use it at will, Lin Feng's confidence soared. His choice that day was very wise. Whether it was Rian or Qi Jin Arrow, they were both offensive and defensive types, but the White Crane Glimmer had a wide range of uses. Just escaping alone was already valuable enough. If he couldn't win, he would run away. Even if I'm unlucky and meet him again. Lin Feng's eyes flashed. He could also instantly explode the light origin. 5% of the light origin was more than enough for him to escape successfully. Qi Yuanba's muscular body appeared in front of him. The power of the Tiger Soul Battle Blade and the 7 limits shot out in all directions. The feeling of power went straight to the bottom of his heart. Lin Feng let out a light breath. He had benefited a lot. This was the true 7 limits, far more powerful than what Qi Yang had used in his memory. It was the essence of the Qi Yu clan's power technique. He's really strong. Lin Feng clenched his fists. This defeat didn't make him lose confidence. Instead, he became more aware of the gap between him and the Nirvana world's top primordial sky devil. He clearly understood that there was always someone better than him. He's just a top-tier primordial heavenly devil of the Qi Yu race. And it's just one of them. There's also the Netherworld clan and the Purple Eye clan. So Purple Eye's peerless face suddenly appeared in Lin Feng's mind. The True Eye contract was still vivid in his mind. He didn't know where she was now and how strong she had become. With her talent, I'm afraid that she's only stronger than the Qi Yu clan's top primordial sky devil. Lin Feng was shocked. Although his strength had increased greatly, he still didn't have any confidence in the battle with Purple Eye in a year's time. We'll see in half a year. Lin Feng shook his head. His current target was next year's February. The seventh great extinction was about to happen on Earth. Swoosh! A storage ring appeared in his hand. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. There were countless heavenly demon cores and many storage rings. Without a doubt, they were all spoils of war. However, it's impossible to get so many spoils of war with just Qian He and Kuei squad. Lin Feng knew Qian He's strength. There were not only heavenly demon cores and great heavenly demon cores in the storage ring. There were even primordial sky devil cores, and more than one. Qian He and Kuei squad. They didn't have such strength. Even if he teamed up with Bai Zhe squad, or even with Azure Dragon squad, it's impossible. Lin Feng was very clear about the combat power of the A squad. The strongest in the A squad were Qin Tiansheng and Wu Qi. But even if the two joined forces, it was impossible to kill the 10 great original ancestor demons whose strength was comparable to the A squad commanders. There was only one possibility, and that was the second Glory squad. Lin Feng said to himself, different from the first Glory squad, the second Glory squad, led by Ying Jian, doesn't have any sacred power cultivators. In this battle, where every second counts, they have to bring one person to gain merit more efficiently. But why is there only Qian He? It seems that I'm not the only one who's encountered a strong enemy. Lin Feng was deep in thought. If he could meet the top primordial sky devils of the 4 great primordial sky devils, he was afraid that the second Glory squad had already met them. The odds are against him. Lin Feng sighed. A big circle. Lin Feng turned back to the military area. The battle had erupted until now, and the demons had the absolute upper hand. The humans' counterattack had ended. With the arrival of the 10 great primordial sky devils and the 4 great primordial sky devils, the top primordial sky devils were almost sweeping the border. It seems that the Glory 7 Alliance is going to lose. Lin Feng sighed. He had the will but not the strength. Even if he tried his best, there was no possibility of turning the situation around. Any top primordial sky devil could defeat him. Moreover, there was not much left of the light source and the peaceful nether holy Qi. The battle was still going on. Lin Feng watched the soldiers and captains of the Glory Alliance fight back with all their might to protect humanity and their homeland. His heart rippled. Although he came from Earth, seeing them was like seeing the Huaxia soldiers, seeing himself. It's Commander He. Lin Feng's figure flashed and directly entered the military area. He glanced at the front of the military area. Commander He and a group of experts were resisting stubbornly, using the power of the sacred crystal array to stop the invasion of the demon army. However, it was like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. Commander He's face was pale. Hong Bao, Ji Jixuan, and the other elite captains' faces were also ugly. Break! A familiar roar resounded. Qi Yuanba was like a demon king descending. The Tiger Soul battle blade slashed across the sky in a sky-piercing arc, and the intense, surging power brought out Qi Yuanba's endless anger. The 7 great powers of the Earth destruction exploded like countless bullets, and the Saint Crystal Grand Array was shattered in one strike. Commander He vomited blood and was heavily injured, and the other elite commanders were also heavily injured. Ha ha! Qi Yuanba laughed arrogantly. At this moment, Lin Feng's heart skipped a beat as he turned his head abruptly. To be continued. Chapter 846. It was a familiar aura. Light Man, Lin Feng thought. Light Man's figure quickly appeared in front of him, but Ming Ming and Goddess Wakaman were nowhere to be seen. Light Man was surprised to see Lin Feng. Let's talk later. Light Man nodded. Before he finished speaking, his figure had already disappeared. He went straight to the front of the military area. Obviously, Light Man was going to support them, but could Light Man turn the tide alone? Lin Feng was puzzled. Light Man appeared at the wrong time. If he came to participate in the battle, why did he come so late? He should have arrived at the same time as the second Glory team. Besides, Ming Ming and Goddess Wakaman were not there. Just as he was puzzled, Lin Feng's expression suddenly changed. What a powerful aura! Lin Feng was shocked and looked behind him. In an instant, 7 figures quickly appeared. The ones in the lead were Vice Captain Meng Meng and Fairy Ruomeng. Behind the 2 women were warriors in various battle armors. The one in the lead had a resolute face. His slightly raised chin made him look arrogant. There was a blood-red scabbard on his back that gave off a strong, masculine aura. The masculine man's eyes were like lightning as he glanced at Lin Feng. Then he suddenly stopped. "What's wrong, Master Red Blaze?" Vice Captain Meng Meng also stopped. Together with Fairy Ruan Meng, the two girls followed Qi Lai's gaze and looked at Lin Feng in confusion. What a powerful bloodline! A bright smile appeared on Qi Lai Zhan's face, and a crimson-red sun appeared on his forehead, shining brightly. Whoosh! 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 The people behind Red Blaze immediately looked at him curiously. Lin Feng has a powerful bloodline? Meng Meng was a little confused. As a potential member of the First Glory team, Lin Feng naturally knew about him. According to Captain Lightman, Lin Feng's characteristics were his ultimate source, an extremely strong comprehension of the path of light. His body was strong, and his combat power was not ordinary. But Lin Feng's blood meridians were only of the normal blood meridians. Based on his second awakening blood meridians, he would only be above average in the Ace Army. If he were to be placed in the Glory Army, he could even be considered poor. Lin Feng, Qi Lai looked at him with a burning gaze. "Which ancient clan are you from, little brother?" "Ancient race?" Lin Feng was also stunned. However, he never thought that his bloodline would be seen through. Everyone else thought that their peerless ordinary bloodline had undergone a second awakening, but that wasn't the case. Although he did not know what method Lord Fierce Crimson had used, it was obvious that his bloodline had been investigated by him. "Chinese," Lin Feng said. Qi Lai furrowed his brows and pondered, carefully searching his memory. "Boss, we still have things to do." A man wearing a hat and carrying a huge axe that did not fit his figure shouted. "That's right, boss. Let's get down to business." The one who spoke was another young man with a crew cut. He had two short knives at his waist. "What's the rush?" Qi Lai said unhappily. "It's just a few demons. I can deal with them in a few moves." Then he fell into deep thought again. This caused Lin Feng's heart to thump. Although he didn't know how much of what this Master Qi Lai said was true or false, the confidence that was revealed from his bones was obvious. Moreover, they should be reinforcements. Lin Feng quickly came to a realization. "I'm from an unknown small clan. It's normal that you haven't heard of it." Lin Feng said. "Impossible," Qi Lai said seriously. "How could such a bloodline come from a small clan? It's rare even for the 5 clans of Tian Mo to have a sub-perfect bloodline." Qi Lai's eyes lit up as he nodded. "Or, is it inconvenient to say, sub-perfect bloodline? The 5 clans of Tian Mo?" Lin Feng was a little confused, but Qi Lai's last sentence undoubtedly paved a way for him. Lin Feng immediately nodded. "Senior, please forgive me." "Okay." Apparently, Qi Lai was a stubborn master. "Don't keep the general waiting." "Boss." A clear and melodious voice came from the side. That was a beautiful woman whose looks were not inferior to Meng Meng. Her oval-shaped face was so tender that it was as if water could drip out from it. However, within her pair of eyes that were as calm as water, there was energy contained within, but it was enough to scare people out of their wits. "Okay." Qi Lai obviously cared about the beautiful woman's words. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The group of people was so fast that they disappeared in an instant. "General," Lin Feng thought, could it be? Are they reinforcements invited by the general? Instantly, Lin Feng's eyes lit up. He nodded secretly. The possibility was very high. Obviously, Meng Meng, Goddess Wakaman, and Lightman were leading the way. But Lightman was one step ahead of them, and they came a little later. The 5 of them are all powerful. Although their auras were vague, they could vaguely feel it. 4 of them were at the Nirvana stage, and 1 was at the 9th level of the Sage stage. The most powerful one was undoubtedly Master Qi Lai. Although his aura was concealed, it gave him the feeling that it was unfathomable, including the beautiful woman, the hat-wearing man with a huge axe, and the youth with 2 blades. Every one of them. They're all as powerful as the top primeval demon. Lin Feng was shocked by his own judgment, but it was the truth. Interesting. Lin Feng smiled. His eyes were bright. He thought that the defeat of the Gloria Lion 7 was inevitable, but he didn't expect there would be a twist in the end. Let's go and take a look. Lin Feng's figure flashed, and he quickly rushed to the gate of the military area. A battle of this level couldn't be missed. Boom, boom. Even before he arrived, he could already feel an extremely oppressive force. Lin Feng's heart jolted. Right in front of him was a dazzling radiance. What he saw was the Light Man bursting with a radiant origin energy as he fought fiercely with the top-notch primordial heavenly demon of the Chiyu race. Light Man's holy light turned into light fists, tearing Qi Yuanba apart. Every attack made Qi Yuanba roar in exasperation. Among the 6 paths of light, the path of light had a special effect on darkness and demons. This is the true power of the holy light. Lin Feng was entranced. Although he was recognized by the origin energy with holy light and path of light, there was a clear gap between him and Light Man in terms of understanding and realm. He carefully watched Light Man use holy light. Every movement and every detail was deeply imprinted in his mind. It was a great opportunity to learn. The key to holy light is the heart. The heart is pure, and there is no need to kill demons. Offering everything is the true holy light. Lin Feng clearly remembered what was written on the holy light steel. However, knowing it was one thing, using it was another. Lin Feng's eyes fell on the gate of the military area. At this moment, Lord Fierce Red was standing calmly with his hands behind his back. He didn't seem to have any intention of attacking. However, the other 4 had already charged into the demon army like tigers and wolves. They tore the space apart like 4 daggers, and the demon army screamed miserably. So powerful. Lin Feng's heart trembled.